Welcome to Talladega, NASCAR's biggest wild card. It's time for race number 2 of the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. The Xfinity Series playoffs are underway, but today is a new challenge for NASCAR's young stars. It's time to shake and bake playoff style at Talladega for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Welcome to Countdown to Green, everyone. We are all the way at Pit Out. Marty Snyder, Kyle Petty, Brad Daugherty joining you from Ruoff Peacock Pit Box. And I tell you what, guys, Talladega, always a challenge. You know, Kyle, we throw this word unpredictable around so much when it comes to racing. Is this NASCAR's most unpredictable playoff race?
Ricky Marty said shake and bake. Are you believing that?
I was waiting for you to pick up on that, Kyle. I was waiting for you to pick up on that.
I think it is. I think this is the one race in the playoffs, whether it's the Cup playoffs, the Xfinity playoffs, no matter what, that everybody says, oh, I don't know about Talladega. You go ahead and give me a 12th place, I'll go home. I'm good with that. It is so unpredictable. You never know from lap to lap where you're going to be running, what the situation's going to be, and what you have to do to make it to the next lap.
Brad, what percentage of this field comes in here honestly saying, you know, we can win this race?
Well, you know, the reality of it is, I'm going to give you boys an education, all right? So
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, so you got 10 cars in this field that are really superior, you know, tech-wise, resource-wise, the economics of the race team and all that. Those guys run up front most of the day. But those guys are running for their lives because behind them, you got 25 guys that are wicked up and trimmed out, and they're going forward. So it becomes, don't ruin my day versus get out of the way.
That's it. That's it, man.
Well, there's no doubt in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, if you're going to win a super speedway race, you have to go through one race team to do it, Colleague Racing.
That's badass right there.
You can't give enough credit in the way they have built this organization.
How do you like that, baby? Come on!
They've won 3 in a row at Talladega.
Jeff Burton has picked up his first career Xfinity Series win.
Great job, fellas. Rocket ship here.
I'm trying not to cry.
Winner, chicken dinner.
A.J. Allmendinger trying to make a dramatic move in the championship standings.
Hell yeah!
I don't want to wake up from this dream.
The calling cars controlling the field.
Go free with your teammates.
Haley crosses the finish line and wins.
Proud of my son, Justin Haley. He might be one of the best we've ever seen on Superspeedways.
Damn right. Nice work.
That is an incredible highlight reel for a team of drivers that includes Justin Haley, who has 2 victories here at Talladega. But the breaking news is NASCAR didn't like something about the 11 car in technical inspection today. You'll have to drop to the back and then do a pass-through penalty when the green flag flies. How's that going to work?
We should be fine. Just make this show a little more interesting for y'all at home. But super proud of Colleague Racing, the sleeve filter gutter protection team. We're in the playoffs and we have to push the envelope, and we can't leave any page unturned. Have to find every single gray area. So super proud of this Colleague Racing team for building me fast race cars. We've obviously been fast. The plan that was put in place this week just changed a little bit. We altered it, but looking forward to getting out there and seeing if we can, come for another win here in this leaf filter gutter protection Chevrolet with a little bit of adversity.
So if I picture it correctly, you're probably going to go a lap down, maybe get the free pass back there, but you're going to be by yourself for a long time here on the track.
Yeah, I mean, we just hope for a quick caution, right? That's about all you can do. Luckily, I had this Celsius energy drink here to get me all jacked up for the start of this race, and we'll be okay. It's a long race, and we can't get too excited. So, like I said, super proud of Colleague Racing and everything they've done. Chevrolet, I'm looking forward to Talladega. It's been good to us. Obviously, we're in the playoffs. We need some points, so I'm going for the win today.
All right, maybe not points in the first stage, Marty, but as the race goes on, you can expect to see him finding his way back to the front.
Well, Kyle, we just heard Justin and Dave talk about it there. We saw it in the highlights.
Yeah.
They have taken this teammate thing to an unprecedented level. How would you have been at this teammate thing, Kyle?
Well, listen, and let me say, there's a reason that I didn't play in the NBA, and it's not because I couldn't play basketball. There's only one seat in a race car. It's not a team sport as far as I was. That's not the sport I grew up on. I would have been a terrible teammate. This is all about Kyle Petty. This is all about me winning the race.
Sure.
It's not about pushing your teammate to a win or the organizational win. Yeah, we won one for the organization. That was good. I'm not that kind of guy. I could never be that kind of guy. I did not grow up in that. I don't want to see my teammate win because he's got the same equipment I've got, and I should have won the race. I'd rather push somebody else to the win, and then us all be mad at that guy or whatever. So I would have been a terrible, terrible teammate. I'm fascinated at Kaulig Racing and how he's been able to wrap his arms around this group of professional drivers and get them to buy into, let's go win one for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the basketball reference I love because I was a great teammate as well, as long as I had the ball most of the time. I was really happy. Good teammate. No, I talked to Matt Kaulig, and this morning I spoke to Matt. And I said, how do you do it? I've been an owner in this sport for 20-some-odd years, and I've had them upside down, sideways. I've had guys mad at each other trying to scissor kick one another. Teammates that couldn't stand each other because of what happened after the wreck at this race in Daytona. He said, look, it's just simply this. The object and the goal, as we talk about every week, is to get a Kaulig car to victory lane. And so on that last lap, I want you to do whatever it takes to make sure that one of you has an opportunity to win. And he says that creates an environment of a selfless and disciplined race team. And that's what they are. I've never seen anything like this. It's remarkable, and they will be the group to beat today. I don't care if Justin Haley is starting back in Oxford, Alabama. He can be in Oxford, Alabama. He'll get there.
Would you put your arm around Daniel Hemrick today if you're Matt Kaulig and say, hey, remember, you're driving for me next year. Maybe a little help for our group. I don't care if you drive a Toyota.
Us, brother. Come on down to the
Gonna be one of us,
out,
right?
Yeah.
I'm not touching that one.
Well, Kaulig's certainly the king of the super speedways right now. Used to be Junior Motorsports. Let's bring in Jeff Burton and Steve Letarte. So, Steve, what do you guys think about JRM's chances here at Talladega today?
Well, thanks, Marty. Yeah, I really think, Jeff, when I look at Junior Motorsports, their approach here at Talladega, it goes back to Kaulig and their approach. It started with Junior Motorsports working together. Kaulig took it to a new level. So the question to the driver is, does that force JRM to now find a new way to attack these races?
I think it does. Because, listen, I think they got the speed. That right there underneath that hood, we've shown that that's really important, and the Chevrolets are really fast on plate races. They've been fast for a long time. They've dominated these races, and I think they can do a little better job of being teammates. And I think they're in the position to do that. If you look at where Allgaier and Gregson are in points, they're pretty safe. So I think that allows them more opportunity to work together as teammates to try to make something big happen today. They're safe on points. They can go about, they don't need to be careful. They can go try something different, and that's just working really, really well together.
But what about the wide experience levels? I say that. Justin Allgaier, the car behind us, tons of experience at Talladega. But his teammate, Sam Marinate, making his first ever start, that has to make teamwork more difficult.
Well, I think it does, but I think what you do to Sam Mayer is you say, look, this is the beginning of your career. You've got this guy right here has been around a long time. Noah is a winner at Daytona. Just follow them. Just see what they do. Pay attention to what they do. And in the long run, that's going to help you. Hey, man, you get late to the race, the start-finish line is down there. Go do what you got to do. But for now, just pay attention to those guys. They're going to teach you how to race, and that's going to help you into the future.
Absolutely. Don't forget, start-finish line is way down there. Exciting finish, and that's going to matter to the playoff drivers. 12 enter, 4 currently below the cut line. Will they find points here at Talladega?
Hey, it's not too late to get in the game with NASCAR Fantasy Live. Create an entry by picking 5 drivers plus a garage driver to compete in a new or existing league. Fantasy Live lets you keep tabs on your lineup during the race and make adjustments until the end of Stage 2. Visit NASCAR.com/fantasy.
Cedric on the outside and AJ Allmendinger on the inside. Wreck at 1.
Big wreck here.
Oh, big crash right in the middle of the pack there. Not enough room, not enough give. Man, just wads up the whole middle of the field.
Yeah, it looks like a freaking wreck at Daytona.
Jeff Burton involved.
I think I saw Riley Herbst in it.
Look at Jeremy Clements' car.
We're done.
And not the finish that Riley Herbst was looking for.
Really sucks. Shocked, bummed, nothing we could do there. Frustrating. So 3 playoff drivers in that wreck, all with big damage.
These guys just a little bit impatient, not giving each other enough room. Boy, I'll tell you, that's a big one.
Boy, Kyle, that wreck at Las Vegas last week looked like Talladega a week early, didn't it? puts a few drivers below the cut line that are actually pretty good at Superspeedway races in a tough spot today.
Yeah, we were just talking about Myatt Snyder, Jeff Burton. Those guys have finished in the top 10 in every Speedway race that we've had. Riley Herbst has all but one. So, yes, guys that are good on the Speedways dug themselves a little bit of a hole. And, yes, that did look like a Speedway. But you heard Brad's words on the broadcast. They just needed to be a little bit more patient. You've got to be patient when you're pack racing.
Yeah.
You've got to be aggressive, but you've got to be patient at the same time and let things come to you. It's going to be interesting. These guys have to gain stage points, have to make something happen in these first two stages to be in the position to capitalize in that last little run.
Yeah, one of those is Riley Herbst. I mean, before he came into Vegas last week, the prior 6 races, he had good, solid top 10s runs, running really well. He gets in that wreck, loses 25 points at Vegas. Now he's 32 behind the cut line. He has to come in today and really, he's got to go for it.
Yeah.
There's no more time. You've got to win this race today or try your darndest to get every stage point and all of those things. So a lot of pressure on Riley Herbst.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on all these young drivers. The man doing play-by-play today happens to be just one of the best restrictor plate racers of all time. That would be Dale Earnhardt Jr. So, Jr., what advice would you have for these young drivers sitting below the cut line coming into a Talladega race?
Well, the first 2 stages are really short, only 25 laps. You won't have to do a green flag pit stop or come down to pit road for anything. So really you'll know once the race starts what kind of energy is in that lead pack. And it's traditionally a lead pack under 20 cars. And we traditionally do not see big crashes in stage 1 or stage 2. It tends to happen later in the race when the intensity picks up as these guys are going for the win. So when the race starts, I'm going to be in that car. If I'm at that cut line or even a guy that's way below the cut line, I'm going to feel it out a few laps, see what it feels like, see what the pack looks like, see if those guys are being cool and playing nice. And then, if I can, I'll work my way into that pack and try to get some stage points. At the end of each stage, I'm going to try to do that. If it looks dangerous, if it looks crazy, if it looks like they're being careless, maybe I got to back up a little bit and save my race car for the finish, because all of these guys want to get to the finish line. All of these guys in the playoffs want to finish this race in the top 10, if not the top 5. So that's the ultimate goal, and you don't want to take yourself out of this race early.
So, Dale, I want to know what's harder for you. Is it harder racing in these plate races or watching them as an owner, much less doing play-by-play today?
Yeah, watching them as an owner is a lot more nerve-wracking. I won't say it's less fun. It's really enjoyable, especially when you win and succeed, but the nerves that I feel as an owner, it makes my stomach turn. Never really felt that as a driver. You get nervous before a race, but man, when you're watching your guys do battle and it's coming down to the end of the race and you got a shot at a win, it's pretty tough on your stomach as an owner.
All right, bud, have fun with the play-by-play call today. We're going to enjoy watching you, no doubt about it. Well, the driver who pushed Jeb Burton to the win here in the spring is standing by with Kelly Stavist.
And that's Myatt Snyder. So, Marty, how about the nerves of being a father watching his son out here on a super speedway race? But, Myatt, you come in 10 points below the cut line. But as the guys pointed out, you've had top 10 finishes in all the plate races this year. So how do you make the most of the opportunity today?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, RCR and Colleague as a group have not really lacked for speed on the Superspeedway stuff this year. I think we saw that at Daytona last. So, yeah, we've always had speed. We've always had consistency at these races. And we've got our best partner, one of our best partners back, Tax Slayer. And so happy to be back slaying it for them. And, yeah, I think, you know, if we just get out of here with a nice, clean day, we can improve our points position and, you know, have a great day. And I feel really good about things.
There's one common thread I keep hearing today. Points, points, points. All these guys want to go after and get some of those stage points early, Steve.
Well, Kelly, it's easy to say you want stage points. It's another thing, Jeff, to go get them. From on top of the pit box, it's pretty simple in my mind. It's a 25-lap stage, another 25-lap stage. Go find some points. Then I'm going to try to help you in that longer final stage. But from a driver, Jeff, I hate to say it, you're on your own for that first stage. Go find some points.
Steve, I got to admit that a few weeks after this point system was announced, I woke up in the middle of the night and I went, oh, my God, what have we done to these drivers? I mean, you know, you're right. It's, hey, from a crew chief standpoint, I got to put you in position. But now as a driver, I got to go find a way to get in the top 10. And 10th isn't a whole lot different than 15th. You really need to get top 5, top 6 to really get enough points. And I'm telling you, man, it's so stressful when it's so difficult. This is 3 races in one. And every single driver has talked about how important points are, and they're all going to be racing accordingly.
Yeah, 3 heats and a main, 2 25s and a long one. Well, after the break, we're going to talk Joe Gibbs Racing. 4 cars in the field, 3 cars in the playoffs. How do they fare today?
TV's most anticipated news show is finally here. Don't miss an all-new La Brea Tuesday on NBC. Well, here's how the full-time drivers at Joe Gibbs Racing have done at the restrictor plate races so far this year. Harrison Burton, Daniel Hemrick, pretty strong. Brandon Jones has struggled. Of course, there's been a number of drivers in the 54, and I want to go around the horn and hear from all of you guys on the Joe Gibbs Racing drivers. Starting with you, Kyle. Daniel Hemrick, does being at a plate race give him a better shot to maybe win today?
Yeah, we started today. You talked about the unpredictability of this place. There's been so many drivers, whether it's Cup, Xfinity, Truck, it doesn't make any difference, who got their first win, got their one and only win. Hemrick's still looking for that first win. He's still looking to get started. This is a day that he could, because we've seen it there before. I've seen it on speedways before. He can run up front. Can he finish up front?
Yeah, exactly. And same thing with Harrison Burton. I mean, Harrison's had a consistent season. He's had 9 straight top 10s. He's run really well at times. He's finishing the top 10 in all 3 of the Superspeedway races. He's never finished, though, inside the top 5 at Talladega. So this will be an obstacle to overcome. And as he continues to grow in the maturation of Harris Burton, as he gets more confident, he's going to win a bunch of races. Yeah. Could this be the start of it? He hasn't won one this year yet. This could be the race.
Hey, guys, teammate for today, John Hunter Nemechek. John Hunter Nemechek's won 5 truck races this year, went back into the truck series trying to get himself reestablished in the sport. Today is a day where he's going to show the world, man, I can do whatever I need to do. He's going to be extremely aggressive. He don't care about points. The only thing he cares about winning this race.
Well, a driver that needs to show the world is Brandon Jones. We saw his numbers the first 3 Speedway races this year, anything but positive, but only 10 points above the cut line. Marty, I think Brandon Jones needs to come in here like he needs to win. Be aggressive, push the pack, move the needle. If you want to be a championship contender, you have to win races. Today's the day for Brandon Jones.
Hey, Stevie, stay with me here, because there's something happening tomorrow night I think you have a little interest in. Some guy named Brady going back to Foxborough after winning 6 titles as a Patriot. Tom Brady goes back to face his former coach Bill Belichick. Sunday Night Football, the Buccaneers and Patriots. Coverage starts with Football Night in America, 7 p.m. Eastern. That is tomorrow. So, Steve, now he has 7 rings, and I've got to know, since you're the only Patriot fan on our broadcast crew, what is your thought on this game? Are you pulling for Brady? Or are you pulling for the Pats? Come on, tell the truth.
Listen, we loved Tom Brady, but the key is loved. He's gone. He moved south. He's coming home to Foxborough. Mac Jones show, same coach, new QB. Write it down, Marty.
I was going to ask him who wins. I now I know who he thinks. Who do you think wins, Brad? Come on, real quick.
Brady and the boys.
How quickly they turn.
There you go.
They turn.
Hey, speaking of champs, can the reigning champ in the Xfinity Series book in the Speedway races this year with wins? Austin Cindric joins us next. Cannot wait for MotoGP right here on American soil. Hey, our buddy Lee Diffie will be calling the action tomorrow from Austin, Texas, 2:30 Eastern, right here on NBCSN. That, of course, coming to you from Austin. We found another Austin, but he's in Talladega. Dave Burns standing by with Austin Cindric.
Marty, he is here in Talladega, and he's got a nice little points cushion after a solid run last week in Vegas. I'm wondering what's on your mind more, win and advance, or don't lose what you got last week?
I think both are good, right? Don't lose anything. Obviously, I don't think we can affect that as much, because today, getting points is important. Trying to get a win in the CarQuest Ford Mustang's pretty important. So either way, it's all about the road to Phoenix, trying to get advanced to the next round. And if we can be in a position to be going to the Roval next week and racing for fun, racing for a win, that's ideal, no matter how it gets there. But I'd love to win today.
Yeah, I think that'd be ideal for a road racing guy. That'd be cool. You start second, so you're up front with Allgaier to begin. Explain to us about having control of this race from the start, if you can, and how important that'd be.
Well, I think without a comp caution, it certainly gives you the option to maintain your track position. When I say gives you the option, I feel like you can also just as easily get hung and fall outside of stage points. So stage points is what it's all about right now. If we can get enough stage points in the first 2 stages, that can really make our end of race quite a bit easier. So balancing all that, but maintaining that track position is the best thing we can do to start the race and trying to get those stage points.
Pile on those points if you can. Marty Heel starts second.
Back on the Ruoff Mortgage Peacock Pit Box. And so we started talking unpredictability at the beginning of the show. Let's wrap it up with unpredictability. If there's going to be an upset winner, Kyle, who you got today?
Okay, I got Josh Berry. He's got a clock and a
like
slot
that.
machine. Why not a little yard gnome with a sword? A little yard gnome with a sword. Isn't that what they give for a trophy here?
Those would be I don't know.
It's a Vulcan or
those
something.
would be the trophies
Yes,
from
I'm sorry,
Martinsville and from Las Vegas.
I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry.
How do you top that, Brad? I mean, come on. Go ahead.
If I had to pick somebody, though, I'm going to think a guy like Brett Moffitt. I mean, if there's a little carnage, I mean, he's a smart race car driver. We've seen him come close several times to winning these races. I got Moffitt.
All right, if you have a favorite today, who's that going to be, Kyle?
Hey, you know what? I'm going to go with Harrison Burton. I think this is a place where he gets his playoffs started. This is a place that he turns up the wick, he lights the fire, and we see him finish out strong. I think Talladega today is his oyster.
Who you got?
I like John Hunter Nemechek, but I'm not going with him today.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
That's why I love sitting here next to
you. You get like 4 or 5 in, you cover your bases.
I just think that the teammate situation, him coming over a one-off, I don't think he's going to have the teammate. I got A.J. Allmendinger.
Yeah.
I think he goes to victory lane.
That's tough.
What if I applied the non-colleague rule to that?
You can't do that. I refuse to accept that.
There is no non-colleague rule.
Exactly.
Does colleague hold it together all day long? Because they really need to help Jeb Burton, who needs some points.
Yeah,
Are they able to stick to, quote-unquote, we'll hear sometime today, the plan? Are they going to be able to stick to that?
You just wait to the end of the day. Those 3 cars will be together, I'll guarantee you.
Yeah.
We'll see if the plan works out for Colleague and they're able to get another Super Speedway win. Clearly, they have been the team that has been dominant here. Racing from Talladega for the NASCAR Xfinity Series coming up right around the corner. We are almost ready to get the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff race number 2 underway from the Talladega Superspeedway. Weather hanging in there. Going to be a fun afternoon for the Xfinity Series drivers. Time for pre-race ceremonies from Talladega.
Am I going with?
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as Central High School Junior ROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors. And now please welcome from Lindsay Lane Baptist Church, Pastor Greg Wise, who will offer today's invocation.
Let us pray. Father God, we come to you today, Lord, thankful for your grace and thankful for your mercy. Father, we pray today for these drivers, for their crews, for these track officials and first responders. Father, we also pray for the men and women in uniform who sacrifice of themselves that we may experience freedoms such as this. Lastly, Father, as we get ready to shake and bake and bump draft on the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway, we pray that your spirit would reign supreme in our hearts and minds, and we pray these things in the powerful name of Jesus, and God's race fans said, amen. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the Marbury High School Choir.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Nice crowd on hand from Talladega. Always fun for the pre-race ceremonies here. The command to fire the engines for the Xfinity Series coming up next.
It was a wild start to the first race of the playoffs.
To be wrecked out in stage one just really sucks.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Jeff Burton has picked up his first career Xfinity Series win.
I have no idea what happened there.
Trying to anticipate anything that go in your favor at Talladega is naive.
You know something's going to happen. You just hope that you're able to miss that and give yourself a chance at the end.
The big one has broken out at Talladega.
NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs from Talladega. The telecast presented by Blue Emu. Going to take a look at the playoff points coming into this race. The second race of round one. A lot of guys come in here with a great cushion, very comfortable. Some toward the bottom there, not so comfortable. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and I'll be calling the race in the booth today with my buddies Jeff Burton and Steve Letarton. Guys, we just saw the playoffs. I'm going to give it to you like this. Burton, all right, you're comfortable. You got 30 points, a cushion coming into this race. How are you going to run it?
That's where I want to be. I appreciate you giving that to me. Listen, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to not make any moves that are going to get me in a situation where I got to go to the Roval next week and make something happen. I'm going to put myself in position to win this race, but not taking chances. If everything's calm, I'm right in there. Once it gets wild and I'm like, this is a wreck coming, I'm bailing out.
All right, you're 30 down coming into this race to the cut line. How are you going to run it?
There's only one way to run Talladega, and I don't care if you're 30 above or 30 below, and you taught me this. Attack, attack, and attack some more. Take every run, take every move, learn what this is about. We talked to Justin Haley this week, and he said, I don't know how the race is going to be. I need to get in. I need to feel the energy, feel the air. I want my driver up front. I want him to know what moves worked all day long, so when the pay window's open, we're there. Because once we win, his plus 30, not going to look so good anymore.
Yeah, that confidence that you have to go out there and take every run, it gets a little tough, though, when you start to see those guys three wide in front of you for multiple rows, and you have to make adjustments. You kind of drive this race and drive the draft with how it feels. It's either dangerous, it feels bad, or it feels really good. I mean, if they thin out, drive right up through there and try to get you some points. Let's go down trackside right now, though, to get this race started with the command.
And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome friend of Sparks Inc., Wayne Sternberg.
Drivers, start your engines.
All right, man, fired up when you're ready. Save the fuel. I'll let you know. All right, start.
Engines are started. Drivers are buckled in, making those final adjustments. We're going green flag when we come back. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Visit gocreditone.com. Ford, built Ford proud. Goldfish Casino Slots. Visit ajgoldfish.com for your chance to win AJ suit and helmets. And by Blue Emu Microfoam, the official pain relief foam of NASCAR. Soft on skin, strong on pain.
When you go to Talladega, you never know what is going to happen.
Talladega is scary. Talladega is the unknown.
Talladega is a lot of stress.
Talladega is unpredictable. There's an equal chance of winning as there is of not finishing the race. Talladega is chaotic, to say the least.
Talladega is wild. Talladega is a combination of skill and luck combined.
It's an all-out brawl. Everyone's side by side, door to door. Talladega is all about survival.
You can really put yourself behind the 8 ball if you're one of these playoff drivers and get swept up in a crash.
Talladega is certainly somewhere that can really derail your championship hopes.
There's a lot on the line. You're not going to win a championship here this afternoon, but you certainly could lose one.
Put your suit and your helmet on and go lay it on the line.
We're going to take a look at today's starting grid, brought to you by Blue Emu. On the front row, Justin Allgaier still looking for his very first Superspeedway win. Austin Cindric, runner-up here in April and winner in Daytona. Got Ryan Sieg back there, top 5s in his last 2 Daytona races. I think he's Talladega races. I think he's a sleeper today, guys.
Yeah, you look outside the top 10 rows. Landon Castle back there in row 11. Jay Buford back in row 13. It's going to be exciting. When you come to Talladega, all these guys have a chance. You just never know. The big equalizer.
And Santino Ferrucci, that guy right there's never raced at a super speedway, but we know he's got guts. He's got to go for it. It's going to be fun to watch.
You see the cars stacking up on the racetrack. Dad with no practice, I assume. All these guys are here just setting that index, making sure that line on the steering wheel is straight up, right where they want it.
That's right. They'll pull off pit road and the steering wheel's crooked. You just pull to a stop, reset the steering wheel on the column, and you're good to go. We're lucky to talk to one of the best at the super speedways over the last several races, Justin Haley. Jeff's going to dial him up.
Hey, Justin, the guys up in the booth, you got us?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, buddy, you are a 4-time Super Speedway winner. The favorite coming into this race. Tell us why you're so good at this stuff.
Obviously, Colleague Racing builds really fast Chevrolet. ECR engines gives us really good power, and we got great teammates along with us. A great car owner, Matt Colleague. Awesome sponsors behind us with B-Filter and all of our great partners. So it takes an army. And thankfully, we got that at Colleague Racing. I've been fortunate enough to drive for these guys, these super speedways, and have a lot of success.
Well, a little bit of bad news, man. You got to go do a pass-through penalty because of an inspection process procedure. So, how does that affect you in how you're going to attack this race?
I'll just make it more interesting for you guys up in the booth, hopefully. Really proud of Colleague Racing for pushing the envelope through inspection. We're in the playoffs, and we can't give anything up. So, proud of everyone at Chevrolet, Colleague Racing for like I said, pushing the envelope, finding the gray areas. Obviously, doing the pass-through isn't going to be good. Hope for a quick caution here, but we'll be up there before you know it. Got great teammates behind me, got a plan behind us, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, we know you're going to give us a great ride. Good luck today.
Thank you, guys.
I want to thank Justin Haley and Leaf Home Solutions letting us ride along today.
Got a brilliant trio of pit reporters down on pit road today covering this race, and we're going to start with some great updates with Kelly.
Thanks, Junior. Well, after getting caught in the big one last week in Las Vegas, Riley Herbst finds himself at a 32-point deficit to the playoff cut line. The good news is, Riley told me he absolutely loves this kind of racing. He said he grew up playing chess, and pack racing reminds him of a chess match at nearly 200 miles per hour. And because of that points deficit, he feels like they're in a nothing left to lose situation. Watch for that 98 car to get aggressive early, Marty.
Kelly, over blocking. That's the term Jeff Mandering, the crew chief for Brandon Jones, used this week when they broke down film from the first 2 restrictor plate races earlier this year. He told his driver, listen, you're putting yourself in too many vulnerable positions, and that's causing us to wreck. Brandon Jones' best super speedway finish this year, 37th. He told his driver, listen, all we need some stage points and a top 10 finish. It doesn't have to be a win today, but we have to see the checkered flag this afternoon, Dave.
Marty, Jeb Burton started the playoffs above the cut line, but he crashed last week at Las Vegas and earned 1 measly point. He's now 27 points below the cut line. So what's on his side today? Well, first of all, his sponsor, Nutrient Ag Solutions, who will give us these great shots from the onboard camera. Secondly, his teammates. We've talked about the colleague group. They will help Jeb today as well. And then thirdly, his record. He's 4th or better all 3 super speedway races this season, including his Talladega win here in April. Now let's go back to the booth and someone who was brilliant at Talladega. Hey, Junior.
I appreciate that, man. So, Steve, this racetrack, this race, I mean, the stages 1 and 2, 25 laps. Stage 3 is really, really long. So that's got to offer a little bit of strategy. Give us that race breakdown.
Well, you mentioned it. It's NASCAR's biggest oval, Talladega Superspeedway. Love this place. 2.66 miles wide open all the way around here with restricted horsepower. Tons of banking, 33 degrees at both ends of the racetrack will allow for 3 and even 4 wide racing. The tri-oval can be tricky, 15.5 degrees. You think that's a lot, but we've seen cars get light and move around, and very important to remember, the start-finish line, not like Daytona, it's out of the tri-oval. Those last lap moves, and you mentioned it, only 25 laps for stage 1 and stage 2, 63 lap final stage, that fuel window 44 to 47, so we could see a green flag pit stop. That's where that strategy might come into play in that final stage.
When we come to Daytona or Talladega, this is the team right here that has dominated those 2 racetracks. They've orchestrated their wins with some great, impressive runs, working together as a team, kind of being selfless. Really don't think of race car drivers as anything but selfish and these guys seem to be able to do a better job of working together and winning races. Let's take a look at Daytona here real quick.
Yeah, this was the great example. You know, these guys are all racing for the win. They drive into turn 3. This is coming to get the checkered. 3 wide, Justin Haley on the outside. Now, where is the competition going to go? You can't pass them. They're 3 wide. So the victory is going to come down to these 3 or they're going to wreck. And that's just great teamwork, smart moves. And listen, it all starts with team owner Matt Collick. He has everybody completely bought into the overall health of this company, and they're actually excited. A.J. Allmendinger just lost, and he's up there celebrating the guy that beat him. That's not something we see that often in motorsports.
Well, you'll never get me to believe that they sat down in a meeting and said, all right, coming off 4, we're going to be 3 wide.
Not a chance.
No chance. Marty, what you got?
Well, Dale, I talked to Chris Rice, the president of Colleague Racing, about where this real genesis of how they became so good at the Superspeedway races started. He said, when we were a young team, we knew these were our shots to win races, and that was pretty much it. 4 times a year, we could come to the racetrack, we could work together, and we could find a way to win. And now that we can win everywhere, we just apply it still. But it works, and Colleague can make, quote-unquote, the plan work all afternoon long like they did in Daytona. They're hoping they can maybe push this guy, Jeb Burton, to a win and advance him to the next round, because right now, as Dave mentioned a moment ago, he's below the cut line.
We got some audio from one of the Colleague teams, Justin Haley.
All right, man. You're the absolute best speedway racer in the house right now. Keep it in your mind all day. Make it fun, make it interesting, give them something to watch. Good luck, buddy. Have fun.
Hope we can do it again.
So that 11 of Justin Haley, we mentioned it a couple times now, but you're going to see him take the green flag, then come down pit road all by himself. That's a penalty that NASCAR is enforcing after some inspection. That could be a big penalty if it runs green. If he's lucky enough to get a quick yellow, he'll be right back in the pack.
Yeah, he's not very healthy in points right now. He could get no stage points without a caution.
The pace car's dived on the pit road. About to go green here. The field comes. 40 cars roll through the trial under control of flagman Matt Leidick. He waves the green flag as we're underway and running for today's Sparks 300. Takes these cars a while to get up to speed. They run really tall gears to get around this racetrack.
See already the 22 car of Austin Cindric, he jumped to the outside. Thinks the better run is coming from the outside. I think he's right. They're very organized up there.
Back down to the bottom. That's going to allow the 7 of Algar back to the outside of the 22. Not a lot of help. Josh Berry closing in on the back bumper of Cindric.
See at the top of your screen, that's Justin Haley serving the penalty we spoke of, turning left, coming down pit road as the field goes through the trial. I expect that 11 to not lose a lap, but absolutely lose the pack. Most important thing right here, Jeff, don't make it worse. Don't speed. I don't care if you have to run a mile an hour under. Just let him make a second trip down pit road.
Yeah, no speeding penalty. Again, if he gets a caution, no big deal, but if he doesn't get a caution, they will come back around him and lap him. See, Cindric's picked up that bottom line. Josh Berry with a big push down the back straightaway. Remember, in the Xfinity Series, a couple special rules. You cannot lock bumpers. You can hit each other. You run up there behind the guy and hit him, but if you stay locked onto that bumper, NASCAR is going to black flag you. They make that rule. They don't want bump drafting because of the wrecks that it causes.
And also out of bounds, that double yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack, that's out of bounds. You cannot go down there to advance your position. You also can't force somebody down there to save your position. NASCAR can black flag either person. As we see the one of Josh Berry change positions again back to the top of the racetrack.
Yeah, I think Josh wanted to get up there with his teammate, Justin Algar, got right up in front of him. Now he's got, look at that outside line. You got 3 Junior Motorsports cars behind Austin Cindric.
AJ trying to get a little side draft off the 22, but the 1 car also side drafting AJ. AJ draws him back. Cindric clears into the lead.
It's a lot of 2x2, but relatively calm. A few guys changing lanes, Dale, but overall, seems like all of the front guys reasonably content. As I say that, Josh Berry pulls to the bottom of the racetrack. Last week's winner trying to keep the momentum going.
How about Josh Berry? You mentioned it one last week. Short track ace, short track races around the country. Love this guy. It's proven if you win on the short tracks, you can get a shot. And then when he got a shot, he's executed, taking advantage of it, Marty.
And Jeff, I'm sure you can put yourself in the shoes of Michael Annett, the normal full-time driver for the one car. Probably tough to see your car win and you not be in it, even though he's certainly happy for his race team. But Mike Bumgardner, the crew chief for this team, did a terrific job this week, and he pulled Annett aside and said, listen, that is as much your win as Josh Berry's win. That was your sim information. That was your setup in that race car. You contributed to that win. We ran the same setup you ran there in March, so take pride in that win. That wasn't Josh Berry's win. That was your win and his win. So some good words from Mike Bumgardner.
One thing to keep your eye on, a lot of drivers are starting to bail out on this inside line. See drivers jumping to the outside. They want to drag this line to the outside. They want it single filed. A little bit safer racing. Enough cars on the bottom, though, right now they're not going to be able to pull that off. But the more cars get in that top, the more difficult the bottom's going to become. We talked about bump drafting. See right here, Brett Moffitt. Right behind the 10 car, Jeb Burton. Little contact right there, knocks Jeb sideways. Good save by Jeb.
Yeah, I was going to mention Brett Moffitt. I ran into him down on the grid. Remember, he was out of that car for a couple weeks. I just asked him how he was feeling. He was out due to a medical issue. He said he was back to 100%. It's great to see him back in this car. I think he's an exciting driver, right? Takes one of those perhaps not fully funded race teams and runs up front consistently with some of the bigger names and bigger teams.
This outside lane, guys, I said it a minute ago, it's gotten even more for him. You see all the guys on the bottom starting to try to side draft, try to find a hole in that outside.
I think as long as Josh Berry's able to pull that inside line up and be relatively close to the front, maybe those guys in that line will not bail. Once it starts sliding back, though, once they start losing speed, losing positions, they'll give up on it, or you'll go to the back.
Got 3 Gibbs cars lined up on the bottom.
They're just running out of numbers on that inside line. More cars in line are going to run faster.
And as a driver and a spotter, you want to always be looking when that outside lane gets formed. But in that situation, Cindric on the bottom, that could help that inside line. But in that situation, Junior, I didn't really see an opportunity for the guys to know that outside was going to start getting formed up.
I love what Josh Berry was thinking. He said, Cindric, you're going to block me. I'm going to try to jump up in front of Allgaier. He's unable to do it, but that backed him right up to the front bumper, that 16 of Allmendinger. And now Berry's going to have a huge run down the backstretch. Will take the lead. Look at that run.
Now he's got to protect one lane or the other. They're going to close in on him really, really quickly. He can box in that outside line, force them to push him.
And if he stays on the top, which he doesn't, it would have really hurt those guys on the bottom.
Pretty fortunate there. He had room to get down. I was afraid they might get him stuck 3 wide in the middle.
Completing lap 8. 53 miles into this race. We'll be back with more. NASCAR Drive is your live race day companion. Follow your favorite drivers with high-definition in-car cameras or select an alternate camera angle to see more of the action. Select up to 8 cameras or watch 4 at one time with multi-camera view. Visit NASCAR.com/drive or download the NASCAR mobile app today. You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs action from Talladega. Telecast presented to you by Blue Emu. Got some updates down on pit road, starting with Marty.
Well, it's getting a little dicey up front. You saw Josh Berry kind of push the 22 car right there, and he gets to the lead. A.J. Allmendinger a moment ago showing that veteran savvy behind the wheel. He was on the bottom line with far less cars, was able to drag that bottom line up. Dinger able to get the lead, and now once again get it back from the 22, Dave.
Third car in line at the top, the orange 7 of Justin Allgaier. He's never won here, so he's always looking for a way. Is that top line the way to go? Listen.
We got to switch to single file to the bottom, Eddie. Okay, we need the majority on the bottom. It's just faster. The top is just so far around.
Kids at home, if you're doing your geometry, yes, it is farther around on the top lane. Justin Allgaier saying, I want to be on the bottom lane. That's the way to go, spotter.
Daniel Hemrick in that orange number 18 car now back up on the high lane. He told me that to start this race, he would really have to see how the car was reacting. He said, if this car will take a lot of pushing and shoving, I'm going to be aggressive to start. If not, I got to back out. Well, he's been hanging tough, although you might see him kind of duck out of line every now and then. He said he needs to get some more air to his race car, cool it down just a little bit.
Unbelievable kind of racing we're seeing right here, guys. Early in stage 1, 3 and 4 wide. A lot of positions changing. Look here. 9 car to the top of the 1, now putting him 3 wide.
Yeah, the 1 of Josh Berry, that black car, is stuck in the middle. Behind him, the 7, the bright red car of Justin Allgaier. 2 Junior Motorsports cars got cycled to the middle. They were pretty calm, 1 and 2 wide. Then all of a sudden we saw 3 and 4 wide. Harrison Burton, left, right, left. He's lined up with 3 Gibbs cars.
Yeah, he's trying. It looks like he's trying to roll with Brandon Jones, but the problem with that is at some point he's going to get the bottom taken away from him. Got a teammate behind him, though. Teammate for the day, and John Hunter Nemechek. He's really been working with the other Gibbs cars right now.
And I'm surprised to see that blue and white number 22 of Cindric back in the mix. He got a couple big shoves from Josh Berry. It looked to me like he threw the parachute out. He didn't want any part of it. But apparently he just lost the momentum because here he is battling back towards the front.
There's just so much movement from the bottom to the top to the bottom again. Doesn't seem like these guys really know exactly where they want to be, what line they want to run in. There seems to be no preference. It's really wherever they feel like the energy's coming from, they go down there and get in front of it.
There's that 11 of Justin Haley, about a half of backstretch in front of this pack. 2 reasons that's important. 1, it could lap Justin Haley. You see in the bottom left, you see the 11 in front of the 19. Well, he's not in front of the 19. He's that close to being lapped. The other big issue, Marty, is when this pack catches the 11 to lap him, does he try to stay in front or does he concede and give room? They're already 3 wide behind him.
He's going to try and give them room, Steve. But if you listen to the pre-race show, Justin said the plan for Colleague Racing had changed a little bit. Well, the plan is once they get around the 11 wants to hook in with his teammates as best as he can. Jeff, I can't imagine what that's like because one of his teammates, A.J. Allmendinger, is leading or up front in this race in the very front of the pack. So how could you work your way in and work with your teammates hoping that you get a caution to get back on the lead lap?
Hey, listen, the best you can hope for is that somebody will pull up behind you and pick you up, or you're just going to have to get in behind these guys. Pretty aggressive racing right now. So this front group, Junior, they're not going to do anything to try to pick him up.
All right, this outside line is trying to form again. You're losing a lot of guys on the inside. You do not want to be the last person to the movie theater. You're going to get a terrible seat, and it's going to be at the back of this line. All these people are starting to try to organize up top, making room for their teammates, creating holes and opportunities for those guys to get up there. If you're not in that line, you're going to have to ride in the back for a while. Toyotas control the front.
And I assume single file Junior is going to be tougher for Justin Haley, right? If they caught you 2 or 3 wide, maybe you have a chance. Single file, I don't think you could defend that single file lane, can you?
There's no way he can go up and block this lane. If he did, it would be catastrophic. These guys in front of him wouldn't be able to slow down, so he'll just have to stay out of the way. The other thing is there's another car in front of him, so if they catch that other car, then Justin Haley, he won't be the first car lap down.
Good news for Haley is I think he's getting a little toe off that car as well. His last couple lap times had improved.
Looks like Haley's picking that other car up, though, pretty quickly. He should be able to get by him to be the first car lap down.
It's going to be this time through the tri-oval and into turn 4 where the leaders catch these 2 lap cars. It'll get a little narrower. We're going to have to pick a lane. We'll see what they do. This is off the rear bumper of Haley. Oh, that was good timing to catch that lap car. Will he be able to block? Oh, he does!
That's going to mess this field completely up. Now they're going to be double wide.
Now Haley needs to pretend he's the leader. Stay on the lead lap the old-fashioned way. Don't hope for the free pass. Just stay in front of these cars and you're the leader, or you're at least on the lead lap.
Haley's going to try to drag them all back to the top so he can control the lead. He's hoping that they're all going to answer and go right to the top with him.
It looked like the outside has started to form up really nice. Harrison Burton went to the bottom of Haley. That's a dangerous move. If it doesn't work, he's going to pay. Jeb Burton got pushed by Allgaier. Great save.
What a big save by Jeb. I thought that was day over for him and a bunch of cars on the outside lane. Let's take another look at it, Jeff. Right there, the 7 catches the bumper, the 10 up to the middle lane. What a save, Dave.
And Jeb wasn't just having trouble when his bumper was being hit on like that from the 7 car. He said his car is darty everywhere. This thing is a handful. He can't wait to get some adjustments on that 10 car.
Pretty wild racing here in stage 1. Coming to 7 laps to go. We'll be back. Go inside the headset with access to NASCAR Scanner for only $4.99 for the playoffs. Listen in on pit strategy, spotter communication, crew chief calls, and what your favorite driver has to say throughout the race. Log into the app to use on mobile devices. Visit NASCAR.com/scanner to start your subscription today.
With 5 to go, this front pack is anything but calm. The front 3 or 4 are calm, but back there in the middle, 2, 3, and 4 wide, starting to get a little organized.
Steve, we talked about how important stage points are, and they're racing like it. I mean, they are changing lanes, aggressively blocking.
Well, you mentioned different storylines going along. The 11 of Justin Haley had to serve a penalty, and he was doing a nice job. This is him trying to stay in the lead lap. Harrison Burton side drafts, and then Brandon Jones sends the 11 3 wide. The Toyotas gang up on him and sends the 11 back in the pack. And then Harrison Burton right there with a big moment in the middle of the tri-oval.
Gets a push from the 54 car. His teammate, he came down with a block, and the 54 had so much momentum, turned him sideways. Great save by Harrison.
And that's not a block that you want to be making this far away to the end of the race. But with his stage points, like we talked about, I mean, it's just puts these drivers in a very difficult situation. 3 wide now. Nope. I thought he could get to his outside. Didn't quite get there.
He thought so, too.
Yeah. Allmendinger. That blue and white car, a little different paint scheme today.
I mean, just the amount of moving from left to right. Once again, we see the 54 of John Hunter move up. That's going to allow the bottom for the 10 of Jeb Burton.
John moved up out of the lead to get in front of his teammates, to get in a line of Toyotas, but that's not going to work out too well. 3 wide behind him there. Jones gets put in the middle. Mike Snyder jumps to the outside behind the 20 car.
Maya Snyder, another one of those playoff drivers, really needs these points.
He's like, hey, I see a point. I'm going to get it. He moves up 1 position, trying to continue to advance. His other guys make choices that send them back through the pack.
See Brandon Jones back there 3 wide, that yellow car. He got put in the middle by Allmendinger, still trying to fight back.
Jeb Burton came in well below the cut line, currently in second. He has to battle for these points, but I have to wonder about Cindric right behind him. He came in pretty comfortable above the cut line. Does he just want to get out of this mess? Because with coming to 1 to go, I expect for this last lap to be crazy.
I think that's a good bet.
You got John Hunter Nemechek, who's not racing for points, out front with a possible opportunity to steal away any playoff point from these drivers.
All right, 1 lap to go in this stage. Let's see who makes the moves.
Big push on the inside. 22 car Cindric into the back of the 10 of Jeb Burton. It's not going to give Jeb enough momentum to make a pass or make a run on the 54 leading the race.
Right there. Fade the top, fade the top, fade the top. Fade the top. Here comes a push from the top. Get to the bottom when you can. Bottom, 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 bottom.
Jeb went to go to the bottom. John Hunter, big block.
He fends off of that run. And now they're 3 wide, or trying to get 3 wide.
And Cindric gave up the bottom. That's going to slow that top lane down.
Oh, we've got a crash.
A huge
Caution's
crash.
out. The 8 car, Sam Mayer. Also the 16. AJ Allmendinger.
Where was the 16? I didn't even see him in the lead group. And here he comes into this accident.
The 02 took out the 8 and wiped them into us.
The 02.
Oh, cool.
Possibly making contact with Sam Mayer.
It's big contact right here with Sam Mayer. We talked about young driver needing some experience here.
Oh, there you go.
4 wide. Yeah, 4 wide. When Moffitt made it 4 wide, then it looked like Mayer may have
looking for some hit.
Yeah, looking for some racing room. I can't tell who that black and pink car is.
That's exactly right. That's the one that there was contact. The 02 made it 4 wide.
And
what a hit.
Yeah, huge hit. And Allmendinger came in here pretty good in the points, but that's big damage right there. He is going to get very few points today.
AMR safety crew tending to A.J. Allmendinger. And that is a great sight to see right there. Sam Mayer climbing out of that car after one of the hardest hits I think we've seen it this season or after the break. NASCAR on NBCSN is brought to you by Blue Emu Micro Foam, the official pain relief foam of NASCAR. Soft on skin, strong on pain. Credit One Bank, the official NASCAR credit card. Visit GoCreditOne.com. And by Toyota. Got pit stops happening here, Kelly.
And the 98 of Riley Herbst, they told him not to slide him, just a 2-tire stop. He said he just needed the rear of the car to stay in the track more, Dave.
Going to see that a lot. It looks like the 54 going to the left side there. John Hunter Nemechek, stage winner, called his car very stable. The 22 of Austin Cindric, his car's okay. You see Jeff Burton getting blocked in on pit road there. That's going to cost him time. He'll have to make that up on track, and he will exit pit road.
All the cars exiting pit road. There you see Herbst leads them off pit road. John Hunter Nemechek, Snyder, Cindric, and Burton. So we take a look at the finishing order of the stage one. Those drivers right there and the points that they acquired. Really critical to their playoff hopes. A.J. Allmendinger's car rolling back through the garage. NASCAR's going to stop the field on the back straightaway. There's been a little bit of damage over to the turn 3 wall. That safer barrier took a massive hit. You see the way that that's bent from the impact. Sam Mayer's car going into the wall. So they're going to do a little work here. Try to get that repaired so we can get back to green. Let's go down to the Ruoff Mortgage Peacock pit box. Kyle Petty and Brad Doherty. What you guys think?
Well, thank you, Junior. I'm glad you called it the Ruoff pit box because I was probably going to mispronounce that one, but there we go. I'll tell you what I think. You know, I really thought this first segment that we were going to have a zen moment, that these guys were going to just take their points, move on to the next segment, and we'd start seeing this type racing at the end. I'm reminded of a spotter I had here once who said, and this is all he said, inside, outside, oh, hell, they're everywhere. And that's kind of the way it was. That's kind of the way that first segment was for me.
Yeah, it was remarkable. You know, we heard Junior talking about it in the pre-race show, how the first segment's usually pretty calm, and the second segment gets a little bit more intense, and then the third segment, man, these guys were up on the wheel. Everyone was really looking to advance their position throughout that entire 25 laps, which was really interesting. A lot of 3 and 4 wide racing. I'm surprised we didn't have something happen before that last caution. But, hey, Riley Herbst had a good run, did a good job. He did what he needed to do. Unfortunately, though, for A.J. Allmendinger, it's a big hit in the points. It's going to be another tough weekend for A.J. and that Kaulig group. Junior?
We're so thankful to NASCAR and all the innovation in safety over the years. We see drivers hit the wall this hard. Get out, walk away. It's a great feeling. Tomorrow on NBC, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs continue right here at Talladega Superspeedway. Coverage begins at 2 p.m. Eastern. See the haulers making their way into the racetrack. Always fun for the fans in the infield to watch those haulers come through and make their way to the garage. We're on the red flag here at Talladega in the Xfinity Series race. And Kelly Stavis is caught up with A.J. Allmendinger.
Yeah, he's just been released from the infield care center, not looking too happy, and it's everything a playoff driver dreads about coming to Talladega, getting caught in a wreck early. AJ, what did you see?
Nothing. I just got hung up there, and you know, once you get back to the people that you're racing, there's a chance of that happening. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's disappointing. But that's why you work so hard in the regular season to gain all those bonus points, so it doesn't completely put you in a hole. We're going to a pretty good racetrack for us. So, you know, really disappointed for Goldfish Casino Slots for them to come on this race, and brand new sponsor. And we've had a pretty good record about getting new sponsors in Victory Lane. So I believe they're on the car next week, so we'll have to do it then. But, I mean, it's just is what it is. You can rant and rave and be pissed off and curse and all about. Doesn't help what happens. And we'll see where it puts us going into the Roval. And if we got to win, we got to win. We'll go win. And if not, then we'll do what we have to do. But just a minor setback and a great year.
All right. Thank you, AJ.
AJ goes into the next race at the Roval, though. I mean, it's one of the favorites to win. So even though he's going to lose some points here and kind of slide back toward that cut line, and those guys below the cut line may get a little excited about that, but they're going into the racetrack. It's going to be tough to beat him.
Well, and let's not forget there's 85 to go here. So currently he's definitely sliding back towards the cut line, but he may not be the only one we're interviewing in the infield before this race is over. And you hate to say that, but that's just the reality of Talladega. We expect at least a multi-car accident. If it happens, win is a big difference. Second stage, final stage, has there been stage points awarded? Is it on the last lap, a couple laps to go? I say that just because the field here sometimes can get strung out. And if you have a wreck early like what AJ had, you're going to lose more points than if you have a wreck, say, on the last lap, Jeff.
Well, AJ certainly not the race he wanted, but some guys that had good stages there. 98 of Riley Herbst, he got good points. We got Snyder, he got good points, and Jeb Burton, they all got good points in that stage. Another thing that I think is going to matter here is that takes some Kaulig energy away.
Yep.
The 16 car is a ton of speed for that Kaulig team. That's one of those 3 cars that's now out of the race.
Well, you see the cars rolling. NASCAR's got this wall fixed. We're going to have a restart coming up after this. Back at Talladega, cars lining up as they cruise down the back straightaway. Lights on the pace car are turned off. This field's getting ready to come around here for a restart, guys. A little bit of a red flag. Got to get the juices flowing again inside that driver's seat.
Well, it won't take long. This is another short stage. So now you have guys like Justin Haley, who's found his way back onto the lead lap. Remember, he had to serve that penalty. So we've lost A.J. Allmendinger, to your point, Jeff, right? The Kaulig guys lost A.J. Allmendinger out of their 3 cars, but now they got Justin Haley back in the mix. We haven't really got to see what kind of car he's had. I'm sure he's going to show us during this stage.
And Haley saw a lot of guys he's racing for those playoff points get a lot of stage points right there, so he's going to be real aggressive trying to get back in there this stage.
Pace car is to pit road. The field rolling up to the starter stand. Starter waves the green flag, and we're underway again. Stage 2 at Talladega.
Ford stacked up on the outside with Riley Herbst right on the front bumper, the 22 of Cindric. Ford's nose to tail. Looks like they're going to get a pretty good shove out front. Will the 98 move down to take the lead?
He had an opportunity there, but he's going to stay up here and work with the other Ford.
Not a lot of help for John Hunter Nemechek right now on the bottom. Myatt Snyder trying to get there.
Oh, they're stacking up on the outside lane.
That inside stacking up too, Steve, and they're going to have momentum down here into turn 3.
Between the power level and the setup, it just seems like it takes this whole first lap to really get up to speed.
See Noah making it 3 wide on the outside. See if he can make that work. If he doesn't, no great penalty. He'll just fall in, get to the back of this line. Didn't really hurt anything.
Hemrick, that 3rd car in line on the outside, that orange car, orange and black, was looking 3 wide. Now he's taking 3 wide. I think that's the 0-2 of Brett Moffitt to his outside.
A 23 car, Blake Perkins. Somebody we don't normally see up front of these races. Good job so far today.
A little bit of space between these cars on the outside line, a little more organization on the inside line. That 3 wide back there with the 0-2 car on the outside is sort of hurting the outside line or the middle line a little bit as he side drafts off of those cars and drags them back. Right now, the manufacturer loyalty seems to be what is keeping these cars racing each other so hard and keeping us 2 by 2.
Haven't seen a lot of pushing and shoving with cars moving off other cars' bumpers, but we have seen a lot of that snake down the backstretch. And Junior, that makes me nervous, right? That you can go left and right and make sure you're clear.
But Herbst had himself clear that bottom groove, but his loyalty to the 22, it being another Ford competitor, he stays in that outside line that allows the inside to come back up through and race side by side for the lead.
Remember early, toward the end of stage 1, we saw the 22 kind of make a move. I'm looking back on it now thinking maybe he made that move to help that 98 or Riley Herbst, put him in the line that he wanted him to be in. Wonder if that 22's commitment today is to try to help that other Ford. There's only 2 of them, only 2 big Ford teams out there. Can they work together to make some magic today?
Right now it's working as they have pulled ahead, pulled clear by several lanes. And that outside line, they're starting to freak out, starting to jump into that top groove, starting to bail. Dave, what you got on the 22 car?
When I talked to him earlier today, guys, he did not talk about the Ford loyalty per se. And remember when we interviewed him pre-race, he talked about wanting both points and the win. So I didn't get the sense that Austin was there for Ford, but I bet if it came down to it and he could help the 98, he certainly will over the other manufacturers, Marty.
Dave, a moment ago, Steve brought up the fact it takes a while to get these Xfinity cars wound up. Noah Gregson noticing the same thing. They have a smaller restrictor plate today at Talladega. Also, they have a different gear package. What did Gregson think of it? Listen on the radio.
Trying to figure out the difference between this package and what we're used to. You know, obviously it didn't work at Daytona, so I kind of have to change my whole driving style to adapt to this package with the way the runs are, and the pace isn't as high, you know, so still trying to learn how to race this package.
So, yeah, the run's coming a little bit slower. So, Jeff, you got to wonder, is that maybe taking a bit of the Chevy advantage we've seen in the past away? So far, the Toyota's strong today, the Fords as well.
Yeah, possibly. You see that 11 car right here in the middle of the racetrack, fought his way back from the back. But, Marty, yeah, it's a learning process. Different horsepower for these guys today. They have to learn what the cars will do and what it won't do.
Junior, you and I had a conversation this morning about, you know, does your reputation affect who goes with you and who does not? And it seems to me that Justin Haley's success at these speedways, when he makes the move, more guys went with him. Now, not in this situation, he seems to be falling back, but I believe his success, when he makes a move, other cars tend to follow him before they follow others.
Yeah, you saw the rookie stripe on the back of that one car for Josh Berry. If you got one of those, you definitely don't get a lot of help when you pull out line. They're always going to go with that veteran, though, that has a good history of running well and finishing well and winning these races.
I like Noah's thought right here. Let's create a bottom line, and I want to lead it. The bottom line has time and time again proved that it can use the shorter distance around the racetrack and some side draft down the straightaway to go up and take the lead.
Racing pretty wide open right here in stage 2. You're not going to miss a thing. We're going NASCAR nonstop.
Playground. Toyota. Let's go places.
You know, one of the best part of being a dad? Yep. You didn't finish? Let me have that. No problem. Let me finish it for you. I'll finish it. That's why you get a dad bod. It's a thing of beauty, man.
Sonic Grilled Cheeseburger.
It's a tasty life.
At PNC Bank, we believe in the power of taking steps forward, moving ahead, whatever the pace and whatever the size. That's why we set out to help make it easier for everyone to move forward financially. With small business, personal banking, wealth, and corporate solutions that help you reach your goals and plan for the future.
It's a girl.
We're doing everything we can to help you get where you want to be. Because sometimes a little help is all you need. See how we can make a difference for you at PNC Bank.
Every customer has their own Safelite story. This couple was on a camping trip when their windshield got a chip. They drove to Safelite for a same-day repair. And with their insurance, it was no cost to them.
Really?
That's service you could trust.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Yeah, I just saved a whole lot of money by switching to Geico.
Huh. We should take a closer look at Geico.
You know, Geico insures way more than cars, boats, motorcycles, even RVs.
Geico insures RVs?
What's an RV?
The thing we've been stuck on for 5 years.
Wait, I'm not a real moose?
We've been over this, Jeff.
We're stickers.
I'm not a real moose. Give him some space.
Deep breaths, Jeff.
What's a sticker?
Take a closer look at Geico. Great savings and a whole lot more.
The grandfather clock is counting down to more than just a winner.
Green, green, green. Rolling fine, rolling fine, rolling fine.
It's the final chance for a driver to make it to the championship four.
Crash on the back straightaway, and it's a log jam.
And for a fan to catch all the drama.
The bumper to the back of the 24. I just wrecked it.
At the short track in NASCAR. With all 3 series on a survival path of a half a mile, it all comes down to Martinsville. And the whole family is invited to see the action.
Hell yeah, boys. Chase Elliott. You're the man, buddy.
Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
It's not just a match between the last 2 Premier League champions. It's heavy metal football.
What a move that was by Liverpool.
Versus a well-orchestrated symphony. Liverpool, Man City on NBCSN.
Download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring, in-car cameras, and radio broadcast. Upgrade to Premium for full access to driver audio channels and a completely ad-free experience. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start a free trial today. You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs from Talladega. This telecast presented by Blue Emu. Had a nasty crash earlier at the end of stage 1 with Sam Mayer, and Kelly's caught up with him.
Good to see Sam Mayer out of the infield care center after a hard hit. What was your perspective of that crash?
People not being smart. I mean, we're 4 wide or whatever, going off into the corner, and that's one of the sketchiest parts of the racetrack is entering the corner. This car gets so light. We just have nothing to lean on with the aerodynamics. But I mean, yeah, it's just all I saw was a white wall, and it sucks to do that this early because I think we had a pretty good car to go with it the whole time. The whole race, I think we would have been good. Work on it a little bit here and there, but you got to get to that point first. I mean, I don't think we were even in a shot to get like stage points or anything, so I don't know why people were going that hard that early. I'm fine. We're going to keep our head down and just move on to the next one.
Glad to hear. Okay, thank you, Sam.
Great to see that interview with such a huge hit. I mean, damage the softwall, just a dynamic impact for that 8 car. But guys, as we see single file around the top, we're going to jump on board with Jeb Burton. And I hate to say, when I look at the left side, we have some playoff guys outside the top 10 currently. We have Snyder, Allgaier, Harrison Burton, Brandon Jones, Haley, and Jeremy Clements all currently outside the top 10 as we ride single file.
Yeah, we're coming to 8 to go in this stage, so these guys got to start thinking about. Jeb seems to be blocking something going on behind him. He moved down the racetrack a little bit. You hear that engine noise. That's a car on the inside going by. So I think it's Myatt Snyder possibly, or the 54 actually, makes one pass. And that's a way to do that. So when these cars get single file like this, how do you pass, Jeff?
Yeah, so what you have to do, if you're Jeb Burton, you pull up to that car in front of you, right? And when you can get to him, you turn, you get to his left rear quarter panel, slow him down, and then hang a left. Get as far away from him as you can, make the track shorter, and then when you come off the corner, drive up in front of him. You can make that pass, you can make that work. You see Brett Moffitt trying to do it, but Brett wasn't able to create a hole to go into.
Yeah, you see the gap that Jeb Burton had to the 54. If I'm behind Jeb, I'm going to pull outside draft Jeb, drag him back even more, and fill that hole. Pass one car at a time. Marty.
Just think about Justin Haley's race. Junior was the lap down. Now he has made that back up. He's up here in the front of the pack for the first time. And when we talked to him earlier this week, he said, I like to feel the energy of the pack. I need to know what that's like for later in the race. Right now, trying to create some stage points as it sits right now just +5 above the cut line. So he knows in the 11 camp, they need to get some stage points right now. 7 to go in stage 2.
That'll determine the energy in this pack right here. As you see the 54 laying back, Jeb laying back, trying to put themselves in positions possibly to get runs, make passes. The cars behind them, though, can see that gap and try to fill that gap.
And now that the bottom has 3 cars, now 4 cars, what kind of momentum can they make? There's another car, Brandon Jones, he's turned down. Now they're trying to form this inside lane, 7 laps to go. in this stage. The question is, as holes start to create themselves like we just showed, Junior, will they just fill the hole and gain one spot, or will they stay committed on this bottom and try to make it work?
You need like the 4th or 5th car in line to jump down and make some moves. So a little surprised Jeff Burton hasn't done that. A car that really needs those stage points.
Riley Herbst leading this line. Absolutely needs these stage points. He needs as many points today as he could possibly get.
You can see Brett Moffitt and everybody in that outside lane has started to get real aggressive on the side drafts. Now John Hunter Nemechek, he's hung a left. He wants to be the first guy leading that inside line.
And Jeff Burton pulled back up in lane. He said, I'm going to get one more spot right here. We're going to go by this 54. Here he goes. By the 54. Now he thinks he could lead the bottom lane if it gets going.
And the 0-2 of Moffitt jumps into a hole in the outside line. And just like that, the 54 loses several spots, but now they're all making a move. Starting to feed this line back to the bottom. Perkins gets out of line, kind of shakes things up a little bit.
And now you have enough cars on the bottom line of the racetrack to, it's going to be harder to make those one position moves. Blaine Perkins with a big block.
Remember, that's team cars, the 23 and the 02. They're both our motorsport cars. We talk a lot about Colleague and Junior Motorsports. Well, there's another 2-car team that has found their way together here in the closing laps of the stage.
Now the inside lane has more momentum than the outside lane, more energy on that bottom. It's switched in a lap.
For a majority of this stage, the 2 Fords have controlled the front of the field, and they continue to do so. Dave, what you got on the 22 car?
You saw Austin Cindric taking a peek there, but not passing Riley Herbst. He's been coaching him about how to be the leader, and then he offered this perhaps for the end of the stage.
Dialogue should be, remember what we want to do coming to the end of the stage, and don't back me up on corner entries or the center of the tri-oval. Those 3 things, that's all we need.
And maybe that way, Riley Herbst and Austin Cindric can get max stage points in stage 2. Stage 1, where are we? Stage 2.
That last lap at 188 miles an hour, these guys making split-second decisions. 3 wide for 3rd place. Perkins down low, Moffitt in the middle. Hemrick far outside in the orange car. Which line does Cindric and Herbst block? Perkins has a little bit of a help on the bottom line up the inside here to the 22 car. Side by side, he jumps in front of his teammate. It's a great shot. Shows you the momentum each line has.
Cindric is putting in some blue-collar work, protecting his Ford teammate. Not organizational teammate, but Ford teammate. But now the bottom 2 lines have momentum.
Herbst is going to stay committed to the Ford of Cindric. They lock bumpers a little bit down the front straightaway, a little pushing into the tri-oval.
Riley Herbst could have gone all the way to the bottom and blocked all the lanes, but Austin Cindric has been so much help to him, he's going to stay with him. He has never won a stage, Riley Herbst. This would be a huge time with where he is in points to get this stage win.
When they come back around, it'll be 1 lap to go in stage 2. Again, he stays committed to that top, the 22 car, hoping to get a push from the 18. They're all locked up down the back straightaway. Big speed, big momentum going into turn 3.
Blaine Perkins in that 23 car, no help from behind. Brett Moffitt jumped to the outside. Now in behind him, and he has John Henry Nemechek pushing him as well. Should be good momentum on the bottom lane right here.
Jeff Burton comes up the middle, though, and side drafts just a little bit off of those cars. That's going to break that outside line up. Perkins side by side for 2nd. 1 lap to go in stage 2.
See, 3 wide, back there for about 8th, 9th, 10th place. That's going to slow the energy down from behind. So now it's just a matter of...
a little and get off. 22 can't get to you. Got pulled off bottom cover.
There's some great organization in the bottom groove. The 54 pushes the 02 of Moffitt. Moffitt gets into the back of his teammate. He's going to send Perkins out clear into the lead. Blaine Perkins Perkins in the 23 car. A relative unknown leads them off of turn 4. They're going to have a huge run down the front straightaway. Perkins still with help from his teammate. Who's going to win it? Blaine Perkins. What a great job. Blaine Perkins wins stage 2 here in Talladega. Names are made here. Well, you just made yours, Blaine. Anyone can win A.J. Allmendinger's official worn and autographed driver's suit and helmet. And if that's not enough, you could also win original NASCAR crew shirts. Visit ajgoldfish.com and follow the instructions for a chance to win Allmendinger's official worn and autographed driver's suit and helmet. That's ajgoldfish.com. Not his greatest race today, but still pretty cool. Got some pit stops happening down there, Kelly.
And you can see it was right side tires only for the 98 of Riley Herbst. They took left sides on the first pit stop, a wedge adjustment as well. And the 23 California kid, Blaine Perkins, in his first race at Talladega, winning stage 2. He likes his race car. Leave it alone. Just give me 4 Goodyear tires, Dave.
2 Goodyear tires for Justin Allgaier, 4 for Jeff Burton, who this time hit his marks better and did not get bogged down on pit road.
There's the race off the pit road. Pretty amazing to see Blaine Perkins win stage 2. You never know who might win this race. NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs from Talladega. The Sparks 300. Blaine Perkins claiming the victory of stage 2. A relative unknown, Dave. Tell us about him.
So Blaine Perkins, I first came across in what used to be the K&N Pro Series, running out in the West. And he was a young driver trying to make his way in the sport. Didn't come from a racing family, but got it started in karting very early on and ran with guys like Steve Portengay. He's from Bakersfield, so he kind of knew the way out there. It was the Harvick way. Harvick's one of his heroes. And so Blaine got involved with this group this year, Our Motorsports, and told us this week that he really think he could get something done, especially at Talladega. Now, the funny story for me today was I have Justin Allgaier on pit road, was scanning his radio, and Justin asked before stage 1 was over, who's in the 23? His spotter said, I don't know. I forgot to check. I bet everyone now knows it's Blaine Perkins.
This racetrack has been known to uncover some of those Cinderella stories and some of the craziest wins. Ron Bouchard's 40th anniversary 1981 victory here at Talladega is celebrated this weekend. And every time a driver suits up at Talladega, they got to feel like that this could be their day.
So we talked about points and how important they were coming into this race. Well, here you go. Riley Herbst, Jeff Burton both came in below the cut line. Dave earned the most points. Harrison Burton, 10 points. Allgaier, 10 points. Cindric, 9. Snyder, 5 points. Brandon Jones, 3 points. Haley, 3 points. Nice recovery from him. No points in that first stage because of having to start in the back.
Let's take a look at the Ruoff Mortgage Keys to Victory Lane, guys.
Well, you got to avoid the big one, right? We've seen a 2-car incident, but we've seen a lot of moving at the front. Jeff, I expect a big accident at some point in this race.
Well, you said big accident. How many times have we seen green flag stop accidents? If this last stage goes green, you could have to pit on the green. It's very tough getting on pit road.
And find your friends. I know we talk manufacturers, we talk teams. Friends, Marty. Anybody that will push you at the end.
Steve, we talked before the green flag today. 2 keys for Brandon Jones. Stage points. They only got 3, but they did get some. And finishing in the top 10, that is now made harder. Running over equipment on pit road, he will restart deep in the field.
You know, he should be able to recover from that, as Marty points out, but an early accident here, you can point to that mistake on pit road that put him back in this track position.
Flagman Matt Leidick waves the green flag on stage 3. The intensity is going to pick up, boys. They head down into turn 1.
Yeah, it's going to have a different feel. The first 2 stages very short, but no pit stop required. This one longer, but you know you have to make a green flag pit stop.
If the intensity picks up, get the caution ready because those first 2 stages were pretty picked up already. Riley Herbst, big move to the top, blocked that outside lane.
The shoving and aggression ramps up in stage 3. Guys push a little harder with that bumper. Upsets your car a little bit more. More people join this lead draft. There's more energy, momentum in the lead draft in stage 3.
I think the other thing, Junior, that you're going to try, I think these drivers are going to try to do since this stage is longer, is get that line to the top. If you're driving right now, you better be paying attention. Don't be the last one to be in that top lane. It's safer to be up there. If you can drag it to the top, wait for that green flag pit stop. That's the smartest, safest thing to do.
Riley Herbst, the first car on the outside line, now doesn't have that Ford teammate of Austin Cindric behind him. A big move by Harrison Burton from bottom to top. Cindric will follow him. And Allgaier, there you go, Jeff. Just like that, everybody fights for the top.
Yeah, you just wonder, well, look at that Cindric. He's like, I'm not going to ride around at the top. Going to go to the lead, of course. His buddy Herbst went right with him.
Herbst said, I'm going to return the favor. You push me that entire second stage. See if I can help you out here.
I love it.
How impressive would this be today for these two Fords to control the entire race as they're back at the front again? All those swap positions with Herbst pushing the 22 of Cindric.
The 7 car of Allgaier. He could have stayed in the top, taking it kind of easy on himself, but he saw his teammate Noah Gregson down there, jumped on the bottom. Let's see if that works for them, if enough energy can get built on that inside line.
That bottom is thinning out very quickly, though. It seems to work okay, but right here on the backstretch, look at it. The outside lane easily pulls the inside lane. More cars looking for the top.
If you're Cindric right now, you stay on the top. You know the numbers are dwindling. Just stay on that top. Try to get a few more. If you get 3 or 4 more, Steve, to go to that top, you're in great shape.
And Allgaier's no, stick with me. I'm going to make this work. Trust me, and I have nowhere to go, so I need you to stick with me.
They're making it work pretty good right now as they move forward through the tri-oval, almost drawing even with our leader.
3 Junior Motorsports cars on that inside line, so they're going to stick together. That's going to keep that inside line, Marty, stuck together as long as possible.
And Jeff, look who's in the mix. 4th car in line, Justin Haley, who's won 4 of the last 6 Superspeedway races, but he's done that with teammate help. So how does the game, Jeff, change for Justin Haley now? The 10 car has run fairly well, but he does not have A.J. Allmendinger to be a wingman. He might have to do it on his own. How does that change what he has to do behind the wheel here in stage 3?
Well, Marty, in some ways it makes it more difficult because the college drivers are so good at working together. In other ways, because Jeb Burton, his other teammates, not near him, it makes it easier. Now it's just take care of yourself. Make the moves that's best for you. As you see that bottom line, may lead this lap.
This is the best we have seen the bottom work with the fewest amount of cars in the last few races here. Whatever rules combination they've brought here, the bottom seems to hold up against, what is that, 15, 18 cars up top.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, usually when you see that many cars in the bottom, those guys could be in big trouble with so many numbers in the top, but whatever's going on with this package, the plate and everything working together. Look, now more guys are saying, hey, I'm going down to this bottom line. Dave, what you got?
Watching that 7 trying to control this race, Justin Allgaier has not won here at Talladega, and the last 10 races have been pretty interesting. The last 4 races, his average finished 28.5. The previous 6, 5.5. I asked Jason Burdett, his crew chief, who you see in the picture here, what's the difference? And he goes, it is all circumstance. I know Cup guys don't race in this series anymore. That could have something to do with it, but it just hasn't gone our way for the last 4. Today, they're looking strong.
Well, I love the assertiveness of this bottom lane and the commitment by the Junior Motorsports cars to stay in line.
Pretty interesting to see that bottom line take the lead. You won't miss a thing in nonstop.
If it looks like an F-150, tows like an F-150, hauls like an F-150, thinks like an F-150, and powers like an F-150, it must be an F-150 hybrid. The 2021 F-150 Power Boost Hybrid with 570 pound-feet of torque and 12,700 pounds of max available towing.
I need a Mocha Crunch Blast, please. You got it.
I'm on the Mocha Crunch.
We're gonna need more espresso chunks.
Order up.
Sonic Mocha Crunch Blast.
Every customer has their own Safe Light story. This couple loves camping adventures, and their SUV is always there with them. So when their windshield got a chip, they wanted it fixed fast. They drove to Safe Light Auto Glass for a guaranteed same-day in-shop repair. We repaired the chip before it could crack, and with their insurance, it was no cost to them.
Really?
That's service you can trust when you need it most.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
I need to try it first.
USAA is made for the safe pilots. For Mac, who can come to a stop with barely a bobble. Lucia, who announces her intentions even if no one's there. And Sergeant Moore, who leaves room for her room. With USAA Safe Pilot, when you drive safe, you can save up to 30% on your auto insurance. Get a quote and start saving. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
I am a driver with a dream. And part of that dream is making all the doubters believe that my name belongs here. I may be new to some, but I am not to be taken lightly.
Oh, but now they're really going at it. Yeah, they are.
Because if you let your guard down, I will rise above. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
It's not just a match between the last two Premier League champions. It's heavy metal football.
What a move that was by Liverpool!
Versus a well-orchestrated symphony. Liverpool, Man City on NBCSN.
You're watching NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff action from Talladega. The telecast presented to you by Blue Emu. Action is hot and furious up front. Brett Moffitt trying to lead that outside line to take it over and control this race. Justin Allgaier down in the bottom groove has led that line for several laps. Moffitt, though, pulled out a line. Taking a chance, hoping this outside line will work.
Oh, you see the 22 about the fourth car back on the outside lane. Steam coming out of the right side cowl, running hot. The 22 of Cindric is going to have to find some cool air. You see him poking to the left. That's what he's trying to do. Find some air to that front nose. Unfortunately, the 11 comes down, blocks him, not to try to prevent the air, but to try to get the run.
The reason the water's coming out is because it's overheating. The water system is pressurized and has so much warmth that it's got the pressure blowing the water out of there. See it right there? That's an overflow that a driver can see that. That's his cue. Hey, man, watch that temperature. There's something going on, Dave.
And what was interesting is how he got back there. He was on the radio a few laps ago. Because remember, he was up at the front with the 98 of Riley Herbst, and he said, I should have stayed with my, quote, teammate. Instead, he went for a line that he thought was going to the front. That's how he's ended up back in the pack here, and now he needs to get some fresh air to cool off that Ford.
Yeah, and he wants to cool it off soon enough, because if you let too much water escape, doesn't matter. There will be no cooling aspect. You got to have water in there to cool.
And you got two choices. You get in the back of this line, or you go to the front of it. It looks like he's working hard trying to find his way to the lead to be able to get all the clean air he can.
Looks like is it still moving it out? Looks like it stopped.
I think it looks better. You see him a car length back off from Moffitt. Plus, with Moffitt running in the middle of the racetrack.
Take a look at your temps. What is it? 20 over.
20 over. So
that's when it stopped pushing water. Was 20 over.
Yeah. So that what that number is they have a temperature that they want it to be, and what he's saying is it's 20 over that number. 20 degrees. Here we are with 48 laps to go, 3 wide. It's a long way to go, fellas.
To Dale's point, though, he's got all the way to the front now. Every time you see the nose of that 22, so doesn't the clean, cooler air. It takes a gulp of that cool air, helps cool the water.
Emmerich stuck on the outside here, falls back to the 39 car, Ryan Sieg, who's going to try to help him move back forward. Jeb Burton to the outside of the 02 of Moffitt, 3 wide for the front spot.
And that's going to build a ton of energy with that outside lane. They're putting Moffitt 4 wide.
And chaos at the front with 47 laps to go. We're getting close to the window where these guys can make it to the end. I'm not sure if people will stop as soon as they get in their window. In the Cup race, we would see that. But the Xfinity Series, history would say they run a little bit long, but the racing is so crazy. Somebody might say, you know what? The safest thing we could do is pit as a group and get away from this pack. We'll just have to see. Young drivers in this field, not a lot of experience on green flag pit stops.
And a few moves shuffled Moffitt almost all the way to the back of that line as he tries to work his way back forward on the inside there. Cindric and Herbst and those two Fords on the inside back toward the front to again try to control this race.
Impressive what they've been able to do, Junior. You know, they were split up, but they found each other again. And their commitment is no doubt they're committed to one another.
Yeah, there's been times when I've doubted whether they should stay so committed just being two Fords against the rest of this field, Kelly.
Yeah, time for the Toyota driver update. We look at Daniel Hemrick in that orange number 18, third in line there on the high line, still looking for his first career win after 9 runner-ups. And even though we've still got 45-plus laps to go, the team already strategizing. Roger said he's such a good super speedway racer, and when the first win comes, they will start to fall as drivers come to pit road.
Cars on pit road, Dave.
We saw him getting up on the wall. The crew's getting ready for these pit stops. Justin Allgaier coming in now. Remember, the key here is to make it as short as possible. May not change any Goodyear tires. You don't see any ready to go. Just Sunoco fuel, Marty.
The pack thunders around Talladega on the top. You see the JRM cars and also the O2 of Brett Moffitt coming. Fuel only for everybody. 45 to go. Also Josh Berry on pit road. They have their final service of the day. This will get them to the end of the race.
So with no tires changed, the driver has to be very careful not to slide tires coming onto pit road. This is when it's a very difficult situation for the drivers. One little mistake like that, having to change tires, you lose this lead pack in this draft.
All right, so let's talk risk versus reward as we see the pack coming through the trial. The cars are now ending the backstretch that just came to pit road. So they are about a half a lap from being lapped. The risk that these cars stay on the racetrack and lap these 4 Chevrolets that pitted together. You're going to see the pack right here come onto the back straightaway. The reward, they've already had service. A yellow now, they don't have to pit. Every other car on the TV screen has to come to pit road. There you see, hands out the window. The 98, Herbst, hand out the window. Harrison Burton, hand out the window. The second wave of pit stops, the risk versus reward, too much for these lead guys. They have to counter. They have to try to do what the Junior Motorsports cars did. Too much of a risk if a yellow comes out.
So many times we see wrecks on pit road. A lot of drivers and cars coming on pit road at the same time right here.
They've also not had any green flag pit stops. You don't want to speed in this first segment, sliding the tires. See some tires sliding right there. Kelly.
The team reminding Riley Herbst, he was just the third pit stall in, told them do not slide the tires because you see it as a fuel-only stop for the 98, Dave.
And Austin Cindric trying to come to a stop without sliding the Goodyears. He does the same thing. Sunoco fuel for him to get him to the end, rejoin the group, and draft around Talladega.
One thing about these guys, they're going to come off, and they're all in one group already. So right now, accelerate. You've gotten past pit road speed. Now this group is already drafting. They're already formed up together. Look at Ryan Sieg, that blue and white car behind. He's going to lose this draft right here.
And there you see the Chevrolets that pitted early at the bottom of your screen going around these cars that came to pit road. Everybody at the top of the screen coming to pit road. Kelly.
Among those on pit road, the 2 of Myatt Snyder. He has a race car that starts off free but tightens up towards the end of a run. And the call for Myatt, you see the chassis adjustment, is fuel only, Dave.
The April winner, Jeb Burton, is on pit road, also told not to slide him. He did not. He gets the fuel and he leaves.
Brandon Jones also on pit road. You see him there. The only Toyota to pit with these Chevys right here. Also Justin Haley on pit road as well. The Chevy pack, the third pack here, is now going to try and catch that group still on the racetrack.
Well, this group right here is going to thunder by all these cars leaving pit road. Those 2 extra laps of kind of non-uniform drafting cost the final group to pit road. So review, Junior Motorsports comes to pit road first. They're in the middle of this pack. The Fords came the second time. They did a great job as well, Jeff. They're in the lead pack. The final group to pit, though, they're going to lose some positions.
The Collie cars, they came out together. I think they'll be able to catch on to this group. See how much faster they're flying by them. But I think when this group goes by, they're going to be able to roll in behind them. See Justin Haley, Beatley. Now he's left a hole for Jeb Burton. Now here they go. Now they are the last 2 cars in this line. Now what this line wants to do is stay single file. Be very disciplined right here. Drive away from the rest of the field. This is how you can separate yourself with green flag pit stops.
All right. That front group is organized, and you see it. What is there, 10 cars, then a group of 3 and another group of 3. We know it's going to be a tight race at the finish. Let's try to reduce the number of cars, Junior, we're racing.
Well, you got a few guys that didn't have a good enough pit stop to stay connected to this lead draft, and they're back here. Myatt Snyder leads this 3-car group right here. As we close in with coming to 40 laps to go in stage 3. We're going nonstop.
Oh, hey, Pat.
Toyota, let's go places.
The best thing to order is when you are sitting at soccer practice, order it through your phone while you're sitting there, and then you go and pick it up.
But you're much more of a planner than me.
I am.
And that's what I love about you.
Yes.
You know, I'm not that prepared. It's more seat in my pants.
Sam here is anxious he won't be approved for that new credit card, so he's procrastinating. Like, really procrastinating. But that changes now, because Sam looked for Karma Confidence on Credit Karma to see curated credit card offers with outstanding approval odds. So what will he use his new credit card for? Makes sense. See your offers and apply with Karma Confidence today. Credit Karma, from free credit scores to tailored card offers and everything in between. Download the app today.
I need to try it first.
PNC Bank believes that if your phone can help you track your pizza, then your bank should help you track your spending. Virtual wallet with low cash mode from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference.
Every customer has their own Safe Light story. This couple was on a camping trip when their windshield got a chip. They drove to Safe Light for a same-day repair. And with their insurance, it was no cost to them.
Really?
That's service you could trust.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
The legendary playoffs return to Fort Worth. 17 years of NASCAR showdowns have delivered side-by-side duels, championship slugfests, Texas heartbreak, and championship 4 tickets punched. Experience the next legendary playoff showdown, the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500, Sunday, October 17th. Tickets at TexasMotorspeedway.com.
The Roval as an elimination race? What could possibly go wrong? Everything. The NASCAR playoffs continue at the Roval next Sunday on NBC.
Back at Talladega under caution. You see the 15 car of Bailey Curry has come to rest on pit road, and that brought the yellow out to be able to retrieve that car. What does this do to a lot of these guys' strategy, Steve?
So most of the cars are pitted under green, I assume, will stay on the racetrack. They pitted in a window where they have enough fuel to make it to the finish. 4 cars that had yet to pit: Massey, Weatherman, McLaughlin, and White. They can come to pit road now with no fear of losing a lap.
Yeah, I think what it did also is that lead group was really happy. They had driven away from everybody. Yeah. They were going to have about a calm 30 laps, and now all that's going to be gone when they drop the green flag for this restart.
Steve, I know you're a big Patriots fan. You know that tomorrow on NBC, Tom Brady is going to return to New England. He's going to face his former coach, Bill Belichick. Sunday Night Football, the Buccaneers and the Patriots coverage is going to start with Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Steve, who you got?
Well, listen, I'm a huge Brady fan, and I'm going to cheer him on right until kickoff. Oh. And then I'm going to boo him and cheer on the new powerhouse, Mac Jones, under center, Coach Belichick in Foxborough. Look, we love Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady, but he's a Buccaneer now. Unfortunately, my house is a house divided. Because with Tom and Gronk went to Tampa, so did my wife and my son. So now I'm a solo Patriots fan in my house.
Gronk's out this week, though.
I know.
Oh,
Mac Jones by a million.
Who gets the autographed Tom Brady jersey I gave you for Christmas?
No, it's still hanging. He's still pretty good.
All right, well, we'll be back.
The WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. It takes nerves of steel and determination.
The battles are fierce.
Look at this. Let's go.
This is multi-class racing. Some of the coolest, most exotic sports cars that you will see anywhere in the world. How can you not love sports car racing?
Well, the IMSA season closing out. We have a race Saturday, October 9th at Virginia International Raceway at VIR. That's basically the GT cars, GTLM, GTDs. And then the season finale, the Petit Le Mans endurance race from Road Atlanta. Great racetrack. You and I, we've been down there testing before. That'll be the final race of the IMSA season. It was a blast to kick off at Rolex back in January. It's going to be fun. I get to help cover Petit Le Mans, so I get to see the bookends, both ends of the IMSA schedule.
Yeah, the GT Daytona class, top 5 all within one race of each other. The GTLM class pretty much wrapped up by Corvette Racing, and a great battle between two cars for the prototypes. So,
yeah, the Acura and the Cadillac, I think, are having a heck of a battle there in prototype. And that Road Atlanta track, you talk about fast. Down that hill, the front stretch, and back in the back, the little keyhole back there. It is quite the track.
Well, we've ended stage 2 or halfway through stage 3. Let's go down to the Rudolph Peacock pit box. Brad, Kyle, what you guys think about what you saw so far?
I think it's been incredible. I was a little bit concerned when we had all of the guys come down pit road, the green flag pit stops, that, man, we're going to get a little too spread out.
Yes.
Well, now everybody's back up amongst them. It's going to be a shootout for about 35 laps.
Yeah, and look, we've seen the intensity, just like these guys in the booth have said. The intensity is ramped up. I have been amazed at this race. I think it's been a long time since I've seen this, where the energy goes from the outside line to the inside line, back to the outside. It's almost like watching these guys getting shuffled from front to back. It's just going left to right. So before this thing's over with, I don't know where this energy is going to end up. You saw it come by here a couple of times. I don't know where it's going to end up.
Yeah. The front and back's okay. It's that side
to get you, man.
Dale, we got a heck of a restart getting ready to happen here.
Yeah, we sure do. The Fords on the front here are going to control this restart, and you have to wonder what kind of deal that they've made. Herbst in the outside line with Cindric in the inside line. Marty's got some information, though, on the 51 car.
Yeah, Dale, it's been a rough playoffs for Jeremy Clements. There you see him 12th in the standings, 66 below the cut line. A wreck last week at Las Vegas, and now down a cylinder here at Talladega, limping around on 7 cylinders. He will, in all likelihood, go to the Roval in a must-win situation if he wants to advance in the 2021 playoffs.
Well, anything can happen. We've seen cars that are completely torn up in this race win it. With 35 to go, it's going to get aggressive.
Well, I think you can't wait to be aggressive as well, because while we haven't seen the top or the bottom kind of dominate, it could. You know, everybody could get patient all of a sudden, and if you end up back there in 15th when everyone's single fire and being patient, that is panic time.
From what I've seen, patience is not going to be an issue right here. They have not shown it yet. No reason to start now.
Field comes off of turn 4 down the front straightaway. Pace car. Going to ease on the pit road. Herbst is controlling the restart on the outside line. You think that he has to gas it up and will drop down in front of the 22 car. They'll continue to control this race. The green flag is out. 34 laps, 90 miles left in the Sparks 300.
Noah Gregson is pushing Austin Cindric very hard. Still Ronnie Herbst, though, able to roll in front of Austin Cindric. Cindric to the top. Thought that outside lane was coming. Saw that energy. Went up to block it. I don't know what's going to happen in these next 34 laps. Well, Riley Herbst, when this is over, has got to go And give Austin Cindric a big hug, because Austin Cindric has done everything he can to help him today.
I'd be sending him the dinner bill if I was Cindric.
Honestly, it's kind of been 50-50. Both these guys have been in front of each other at points in this race and have worked really well together, and the commitment is pretty solid. That inside line, a little more organized, though. The gap between, some hard push, and Josh Berry in the back of the 9 car. Josh has 0 experience pushing cars at super speedways. I'd be really nervous with him on my back bumper. I'm a huge fan of that guy, but we've seen a lot of guys make mistakes pushing really aggressively. Marty, what you got?
Yeah, Junior, you think about Josh Berry's experience, not much at these restrictor plate races. But it's funny what he told his crew chief, Mike Bumgarner, earlier this week. He said, I want to be in, quote, the chaos at the end of the race and learn what that's about. Remember Daytona, he got in a wreck. He had a flat tire here at Talladega. He's never seen the end of one of these restrictor plate races. He would love to do it today.
And so when you push another car, you need to be on the right rear quarter panel or a little bit offset to the right. When you get offset to the left, it really upsets the lead car. We've seen those guys get spun out real easy by guys pushing too hard on that left rear quarter panel.
All year long, though, Josh Berry has been doing things he's never done before. The only thing he's done is win. He's won in his past, and he's winning right now. He adapts really quickly. Student of the sport. I don't worry too much about him.
He moves up to get a little bit of side draft off the outside line. That carries him forward into the back of the 9 car, pushing the 9 clear down into turn 3. We're 3 wide now with Allgaier on the outside of Cindric.
Yeah, that put Hemrick in the middle. That move did. Where's this energy going to go? Is it going to go to the middle or the top? Hemrick went to the top. A lot of cars in that middle lane.
Herbst is kind of lost here as he allows the 22 to get to his inside. I think those two guys are trying to work together, and he just allowed that opportunity for the 22 to go there. And now the 2 Fords have to find a way to get back bumper to bumper.
And the front 5 are loving this as they're single file, neat and tidy right around the bottom.
Well, that one move changed this entire race right there. It just completely took the outside. The outside had tons of momentum, looked great, and then they just started falling back and continue to fall back.
A new car we haven't seen much today, the 31 of Jordan Anderson, kind of on the scene. He's the bottom 3 wide right behind the 22 of Cindric, that black and red car. Now 3 wide to the inside of Haley. Driving his own equipment. He owns this team. He's put other drivers in it this year, and now he's back behind the wheel. Behind him, well, Blaine Perkins back in that 23 as we see some big moves out of the 22.
Great big block there by Brandon Jones in that bright yellow car. Again, 3 wide. Those guys out front, they love this. Hard to build energy from 3 wide. Those top 5 cars will just drive away from it if it continues.
And see Haley kind of in no man's land. He's got Jade Buford in the 48 behind him. Now the 7 pulls down to the middle. 18, will he go to the middle? No, but the 11 is just backing up, not going forward. Cannot take a run to the rear bumper of that 7. You see how good that 7 is, though. His car moves forward. I think he's going to clear the 22.
Yeah, that's impressive. The 22 trying to side draft the 7. Trying to get back to that quarter panel right here. He does that.
It'll pull him back, though, and here comes the 11, maybe with a little bit of push for the 7.
And that pulls him back, but also builds energy for that outside lane. You know, sometimes you don't do anything and it impacts you. The 7 car with a big fight back.
Oh, yeah, here you go. The 11 goes from backwards to forwards.
Haley's going to push this 7 car of Allgaier. Clear the 23 on the inside. Now clear the 22 on the outside. That's exactly what Allgaier was needing to be able to move forward and break free of that 3 wide. Now Haley wants that help from the 18.
And what a great job by Haley. When he went up to the 7 car, he slowed his car down, got to him and pushed him. He didn't go up there and hit him. He got to him, slowed down, gave him a great push.
There's a reason he's won 4 of the last 6. He just always seems to find himself in the mix at the end. I know we haven't seen a lot of him today, but with 29 to go, it would not shock me one bit to see the 11 up front in the closing laps.
Top 10 cars, all Chevrolets except for the lone Toyota of Brandon Jones in 6th place. Things are heating up here. Coming to 27 to go. We're going nonstop.
your turn.
PNC Bank believes that if your phone can help you track your pizza,
Cody, where are you, buddy?
then your bank should help you track your spending. Virtual Wallet is so much more than a checking account. Its low cash mode feature gives you at least 24 hours of extra time to help you avoid an overdraft fee.
Okay, he's got to be close.
He's 6 blocks in the other direction. Make a left, make a left, make a left. He made a right again.
Virtual Wallet with low cash mode from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference.
Sam here is anxious he won't be approved for that new credit card, so he's procrastinating. Like, really procrastinating. But that changes now, because Sam looked for Karma Confidence on Credit Karma to see curated credit card offers with outstanding approval odds. So what will he use his new credit card for? Makes sense. See your offers and apply with Karma Confidence today. Credit Karma, from free credit scores to tailored card offers and everything in between. Download the app today.
Let's hide in the attic.
No, in the basement. Why can't we just get in the running car?
Are you crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Smart. Yeah, okay.
If you're in a horror movie, you make poor decisions. That's what you do.
I'm being quiet. Breathing on me.
If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet. So hello from the other side. But it don't matter, it clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore.
NASCAR Xfinity Series playoff action from Talladega, presented by Blue Emu. 25 laps to go, 66 miles left, and we got a crash! Oh! Hard contact. Noah Gragson head on into the outside wall.
Mike Snyder was in that also. That was a huge impact, guys. There's Mike Snyder needing a good run today.
We see the window net down on the 9 car. There's Myatt climbing out of his Chevrolet, shaking his head in frustration. Noah climbs out. I mean, we've seen 2 nasty, nasty hits. And guys are able to get out of their cars and walk away. Fans applaud, seeing those drivers okay.
Cesar Baccarella involved. Looks like Ferrucci involved back there in the Hy-V automobile. Can't quite get out.
McLaughlin, I believe.
Yep.
Got a lot of debris on the racetrack and fluid everywhere.
This one
NASCAR's gonna bring the cars to a halt on the back straightaway for another red flag, the second one of the day.
Ryan Vargas involved.
This one started right at the front, I think, Jeff.
Yeah, it did. Right in the front of the pack. See, Noah Gregson's on the bottom, Brett Moffitt on the top. Little contact. Jeb and Moffitt got together.
Dale, it was just like you were talking about earlier. The push really needs to come on the right half bumper of the car. It seemed like Jeb got on the left side bumper of the 02. Watch right here. He is on the left side, kind of lined up, probably trying to get a little air. Really, the 02 comes around before there's even any contact. The air alone seems to turn the 02 down the hill. And then what a huge impact for the 9 of the 9 of Gregson. Then Myatt Snyder makes contact as well. And as the 9 continues to spin, now he comes back down into traffic for some more hits. So great to see Noah get out.
Yeah, these guys coming in behind him, they just can't get slowed down.
Not only does that car absorb the impact into the outside wall, but also the fuel cell. What a shot to the back of that car as he comes down the track, and the fuel cell keeping all of that fuel inside.
Well, Brandon Jones may have gotten a little contact.
Yeah, I agree. A little damage on the right front. And this right here, watch this last shot. This is going to be a big, you mentioned that fuel cell. This is going to shorten it up so much right there. So I mentioned I didn't even think there was contact. We'll take another look at it. Right there between the 10 and the 02 on the left-hand side. I can't tell, guys, if there was contact or if it was just the air, but either way, turn the 02 down the hill.
Air absolutely plays a role in upsetting these cars and moving around.
Brett Moffitt, to be honest, didn't know he continued to kind of correct it. He did a great job of correcting it. Here's another look.
So Jeb's underneath him, and then Moffitt gets loose before Jeb gets there. And look at Myatt Snyder, absolutely nowhere to go.
See the 10, the 11, the 7, 18, all through with no damage. Harrison Burton squeaks through with no damage. And then, as you mentioned, still, you're running 180 miles an hour when the wreck starts. You just can't stop on a dime.
Yeah, these cars run a little bit less of a beefier brake package because they don't use the brakes as much. So when you do need them, they're not going to work like a car you drive at Atlanta or Martinsville.
And, Junior, the tire is a much harder tire. They don't slow down. You slide through your pits on these tires. They don't slow down nearly as well as a softer tire like we run at other racetracks.
Let's listen to Jeb Burton on this accident.
That's just being too damn late on his blocks, man. I hit the brake going down the back 2 laps ago, almost wrecked everybody, and that time I'm there. Man, he can't just come across my nose.
All right, we've talked about this earlier in the year. We're done talking about it, all right? You don't have to explain anything.
So Jeb Burton, you saw his side, and then the team basically defending him and trying to get him, I think, to get his mind moving forward to the 24 to go. So drivers, let's take another look.
So you can see Jeb's underneath him. And right there, Brett's car starts coming around. It does look like there's some contact, but I feel like Brett's car started moving before Jeb got to him.
Yeah, it seems like the air started to spin the 02 out and the bumper finished it off. I'm not sure he would have saved it even without contact. We'll never know, but...
So the air, when the air hits the car, I think it compacts on that nose and it forms a bit of a buffer or a bit of a cushion. And you can move guys around. We do it. We see it. We've done it all our careers where you can get on a guy's left rear and make him tight. You can get on a guy's right rear and make him loose without ever touching his race car. And the same thing happens here at these plate races. You can get toward a guy's left rear quarter panel and move his car around, spin him out, even without contact.
Well, you talk about that beach ball all the time when you're straight in line, right? You catch that guy, and some cars can get to the bumper. Other cars compress that air and push that leader out. I guess this is the same idea as you see some damage to the right front of Josh Berry, except you're not square. So when you compress that air now pushes on that left rear and kind of almost turns the car around. A lot of damage to all these cars. You see big damage on the left front of Moffitt. Josh Berry had right front damage.
We'll continue to sort through this accident, who all was involved. Just glad to see these drivers again climb out after a nasty one here at Talladega. Back at Talladega, Xfinity action here. Sparks 300, a nasty crash, massive impacts. Stage 3, winding this race down. There you see the 9 of Noah Gragson, Myatt Snyder involved. Look to the right of your screen, more cars.
Yeah, Ryan Vargas, Garrett Smithley, J.J. Yaley, Mason Massey all collected at the end of it.
Yeah, 13 cars in total involved in this accident.
Some on this racetrack with damage to fenders, doors. Going to need to come to pit road and get work done. One guy, though, at the Infield Care Center, Kelly Stavis, is caught up with Myatt Snyder.
Yeah, glad to see Myatt out of the Infield Care Center. It looked like you just really had nowhere to go, Myatt. What did you see unfold in front of you?
Yeah, I had a feeling something like that might happen. The energy in the pack was kind of chaotic. But at the same time, it's still like 25, 26 to go. So I felt like it was a little too early to be, that aggressive. I know that maybe some of the cars around us weren't ideal, but, we still had a solid top lane going. So I don't even remember who was in front of me, but I don't think we should have been, racing like that. So it's just unfortunate because now we're in a hole for the Roval after, gaining some points on who we needed to today. So it's unfortunate. We'll go back and slay it at the Roval.
Yeah, given your experience on road courses, likely a must-win for you. How confident can you be heading to Charlotte?
Pretty confident, honestly, especially if it rains. I was up there in the end of the race there. So, like I said, today's race is unfortunate, but next week's race, we should be really good. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, Myatt.
Thank you.
And this is the points right now as the cars sit on the backstretch under the red flag. But Snyder in 11th, minus 32.
Yeah, disappointment. I know for Myatt had a great season with that breakout win at Homestead very early in the year that qualified him for the playoffs. And I agree with what he was saying. He put himself in a good position, right up there inside the top 5, top 10, gaining those points. He's earned 5 stage points today, which wasn't a huge amount, but I thought he did it without taking big risk. He put, but at some point, I agree with his assessment. We don't want to race too hard, but with 25 to go, you got to start racing at some point. And you pointed out the best in the replay. Nothing he could have done, right? The accident happens. He picks a lane, stays in the gas, which I like. Unfortunately, car comes right up in front of him.
Yeah, in his interview, you could play from 30 years ago, right? From drivers saying, hey, we shouldn't be doing this early. It's this racetrack. It puts drivers in very difficult situations. And just so often you're sitting there minding your own business, you end up on the hook. Nothing you did wrong.
NASCAR continues to clean up turn 4. A lot of speedy dry down there after this accident. Cars are red flagged on the back straightaway, but a restart coming up next.
This place can't chew you up and spit you out in a hurry.
Everybody's 4 or 5 wide. Something crazy's going to happen.
Up and into the air!
That was probably the longest flip I've ever had. Didn't know if it ever stopped.
Logano is upside down. He'll slam back into the racetrack.
Edwards goes up in the air.
Nearly half the field eaten alive.
You seen it today? Anything can happen in these races at Talladega. We'll see it again tomorrow. There's your schedule countdown to green at 1 o'clock and the race at 2 o'clock. And then the race is on NBC, folks. NBCSN is where you're going to find the post-race show at 6 p.m. It's going to be an awesome day. Can't wait. Kelly has caught up with Noah Gragson, who was in this terrible accident in turn 3 and 4.
And one of the first things he said was, did that look like a big one? Because it felt like a big one. So we're really glad, Noah, to see that you're okay, leading on the low line. And then what happened?
The 02 and the 10 were pretty, they're kind of squirrely, dicing it up. And maybe I should go to the top, block the top, and then I have my teammates, the 1 and the 7 below me. But, the 02 just got turned by the 10, and we got it head on and then cleaned out by the 2. So just a bummer. We had a fast car, but it's just so different. They changed the package on us in Daytona for the summer race, and the size of the restrictor plate, and that kind of made it a lot different drafting. It's almost like ARCA now. So I know we were 3 wide in a sense, but you could just cruise right around the bottom the whole time. I don't know how much fun that is to watch for fans. So it's not fun in the car, but still very thankful. It's a privilege to be out here in the Xfinity Series, and very thankful for Johnny Morris, Rusty Sellers, everybody at Bass Pro Shop, Black Rifle Coffee, True Timber, everybody at Junior Motorsports. We have fast cars. It's so much different. I almost had to teach myself and learn really quickly throughout the race on how this package is different than the last 2-3 years. So definitely race is different, and I don't know how exciting it is from outside the car, but it's not too exciting from inside.
Well, we anticipate another exciting race next week when you get to the Roval. There's a lot of laps left, but as I look, you got 17 points above the cut line as it stands. So what do you anticipate your approach will be next week at the Roval?
I mean, I feel like it's a good track for us. We finished second and fourth there, so I hope it rains a ton because they were really good in the rain there last year. Maybe they can put the sprinklers on. If Marcus is listening, put the sprinklers on for us and get the track really wet next weekend. That'll be good. But no, we're good on the road course. It's one of my favorite tracks, and I don't know. Gonna go get some beads on Talladega Boulevard tonight, hang out with my family, and seen a lot of 9 t-shirts, so thank you all the fans for all your support, and if you're here in Talladega, let's go party it up.
All right, Noah Gragson may have lost some points, hasn't lost his sense of humor or love for his fan base here at Talladega.
So I like that interview for a few reasons. One, he's always entertaining talking about the Roval, but the other thing is he gave an honest opinion of what the racing was like today. And everyone doesn't have to be a fan of every style of racing and every adjustment NASCAR makes to the rules. And I think it's a great opportunity for him to give his opinion. And I thought he did it in a very classy way as we see the 02 come to pit road. I didn't see the original damage, but it seems like the left rear of the 98 also had some pretty big damage. He came to pit road as well. Yeah, this car right here looks clean on the right side, but on the left rear, it looked like there was pretty big damage. We could see if they take some time over here. I bet they will. Yeah, there they go. They're going to go to work on it right now. Kind of hard to see with the 99 in the way, but I thought Noah, did a nice job. Kind of stating his opinion without being disrespectful, and
I think he'd have a different opinion if he was sitting in Victory Lane at the end of this race.
Well, sure.
We all come here, and the package changes almost every time you come to these races, and sometimes you don't have a good time, sometimes you do, and kind of more of a result of your feelings about the package is more of a result of the end of the race result, whether you finish well or not.
Yeah, and Junior, watching this race, this has been the most aggressive of the 4 plate races this year in the Xfinity Series. So it's so different from being in that car versus being up here watching. This has been an extremely aggressive race.
Dave, what you got?
Junior, you were talking about cars that received some damage, little damage, a lot of damage. One guy that escaped was Justin Allgaier, Jason Burnett's crew chief. How do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. We've been fortunate all day to miss all the big ones, and keep the fenders on it. So hopefully for the next 24, 25 laps here, we can continue that trend, and stay up front, stay out of the trouble, and give ourselves a chance to win or at least get some points.
We were talking about how aggressive it looked today. Does it look more aggressive to you than earlier in the year?
I think there's been a lot of aggressive. I guess that's what you call it. A lot of mistakes, really. Guys doing things that maybe shouldn't be done. But, we're getting down here to the end, so I'm sure it's going to get dicey. And everybody's trying to get a win, to get through this round on to the next one.
And you led 7 laps. He led 7 laps earlier today. Car seems pretty strong when it's out front.
Yeah, no, I think we've had pretty good speed. We got out front a little bit there in the beginning of this stage and led some and led that bottom line. I feel like if we can get out front, we'll be okay. Like I said, it's just going to be dodging the bullets here.
Justin Allgaier so far today, lucky and good, boys.
Let's take a look at this race, though, man. Let's recap it for all you fans who are tuning in now.
Started right away. Justin Haley issues an inspection, went to the rear, and did a pass-through under green flag. Has since recovered and has worked his way up inside the pack.
Yeah, Jeb was being pushed early in this race. Several times he had to have a big save to keep from wrecking that car.
We had a stage 1 that ended in a bad wreck for the car of Sam Mayer. And it took out A.J. Allmendinger as well. Both those guys unable to finish.
And Blaine Perkins, Our Motorsports, the 23 car, goes on to win stage 1 with his teammate 02 right behind him.
And then this wreck right here has put us under caution. Noah Gragson and several other cars involved in this accident, getting down into turn 3. Hard impacts. These cars are going about 185 to 190 miles an hour average laps around here.
My apologies to Blaine. It had been so long after this big wreck. I thought he won stage 1. He had won stage 2. Took that one away from John Hunter. So good to see Noah get out after that big accident.
That was a huge hit. And now they have to all regroup, get themselves gathered up, build a game plan, Marty, after everything they've learned so far this race.
Hey, Jeff, let's add one more ingredient to the mix. Why not? Rain is about 5 miles away, so drivers are being told they have about 15 minutes here before the rain hits. There you see the radar. Looks like it might skirt by the racetrack, but it might hit us as well, so why not? 22 to go. Let's throw some rain into the mix as well to add to the sense of urgency.
That'll absolutely make things frantic behind the wheel of all those race cars in that lead draft. I noticed it getting darker and darker here, thinking about how these guys could see out of the windshield. It's going to get even more difficult as this race goes on. Let's listen to Jeb Burton.
It's just too dark to probably get going back. I can't really see. So
darkness. I don't think it's that dark, Jeb. I know he's very eager to win this race.
Well, remember, he won this race in the spring, in the rain, right? He was leading the race, did a great job all day long, had great speed. The rain came. Jeb Burton gets his first Xfinity win. Huge day for Jeb.
He'll
Just
take
caution
it
right here.
Yeah, he'll take that win. He'll take one here if he can get it. But I don't think he's gonna win that argument over darkness.
No, but to his point, sunset's about 30 minutes away. No lights here. It wouldn't take but a little pop-up shower at one end of the racetrack, and this thing is over. It's official. After stage 2, a race will be official, so there's no doubt rain would end this race. So I think we're going to take an intense race and turn it up even more.
And you see that with his visor, the tinted visor that Jeb's running now. In this condition, that tinted visor would absolutely make it difficult for him to see and judge. So he's going to try, I guess, to attempt a race with that visor open and risk getting some debris and so forth in his eyes. But typically a driver with any kind of threat of getting toward darkness late in a race, you'd have a tear-off or something like that of a clear visor with a tinted tear-off on it. But he's going to have difficulty seeing if he's going to run that visor down. Here's another driver, Haley.
Yeah, so look at the points on the left side of the screen. Remember, Jeb Burton had trouble last week, got an early wreck. I think only got 1 point for the day. A big hole to dig out of. If he wins this race, he moves himself to the next round of the playoffs, and look what it does to the bottom. Look how close. Allmendinger, only 15 points to good. Gregson, 3 points out. Jeb Burton wins this race. It's a whole nother game going to the Roval.
Let's listen to Justin Haley's audio.
Just be extra careful with those two behind me. They're wild.
Yeah, 10-4. I've got a feeling everybody's going to get that way. Get down the end of this thing. A little bit of rain's close, and for me, it's fairly dark.
Who's he talking about? Oh, Harrison Burton and Nemechek there in the 54.
Two Toyotas. I'm not sure he loves having two Toyotas on his rear bumper. So one interesting thing, though, what's his spotter say? Even for me, it's starting to get a little dark. We're up here in the booth looking across the infield. It's a little hazy. Got that little campfire smoke here at Talladega. Sun's starting to set. So, it's not as clear as it is on television.
Brandon Jones, the other guy on the front row, he also had a bad race last weekend. A win would move him to the next round of the playoffs.
Back under green. 20 laps to go. The cars head down into turn 1. The inside line locked up. Jones is clear. Allgaier is clear. Jeb Burton all by himself in that outside line. His teammate, Haley, to the bottom. That's the first time we've seen the colleague cars sort of not working together as you typically do. Jeb looking for some help off the nose of this 20 car of Harrison Burton.
How about Brandon Brown in that kind of pink haloed car, black with a pink roof as we see the cars go through the speedy dry. I think that's all that is, that smoke and speedy dry. Brandon Brown in the 5th position. Made the playoffs.
Oh, we got a car in the wall in the back there. Looks like the 0.
Might get to pit road. This race might stay green.
Jeffrey Earnhardt.
He does. He went to pit road. The race will stay green.
Jeffrey into his pit stall with a lot of damage to the right side of that car. You watch the battle on the racetrack. A lot of cars out there with damage, parts flying. You have to imagine we could see possible debris cautions that could extend this race. Here's the accident. Jeffrey Earnhardt just gets out of control. Loses control of the car somehow. Will flat left rear tire. Blew a left rear tire there in the 0 car.
Ooh, these front 7 are getting organized. 19 to go. So let's just take our time here, stretch our legs.
Here's the battle right here to be the first car leading this line. Will it be the 31, Jordan Anderson, or will it be Harrison Burton? The top lane, a lot of good cars in it.
And I mentioned Brandon Brown, another car, Jade Buford, right behind Brandon Brown in that single file lane. So a couple players at the front we don't normally see at the front of some of these races. They're going to try to get themselves a Talladega win.
Riley Herbst, after repairing that left rear quarter panel, working his way around the outside of Sieg.
This inside lane looks like it's really starting to get formed up.
Pretty interesting, too, with the threat of rain. Possibility that this race could end early. That these guys are settling in, organizing to run to the finish.
Well, I think when you look at the guys that are up there, you got Allgaier in second. Well, he's plus 56 in this current situation, right? Hemrick would be plus 42, Haley plus 26. So not that they all don't want to win, but they might say, you know what, this would be a great day for Talladega, Dave. Maybe the 7 of Allgaier just wants to take his points and go home.
He would like to do that, Stephen, after starting on the pole today. I asked him earlier today, what's the plan and everything, and he said, do not leave the front. He's second place now behind Brandon Jones, and he's been up front for the majority of the day. Remember, has never won here, but knows how to do this so well. He's in great position here as laps wind down. Don't leave the front.
Jeff, if you're Brandon Jones, what kind of information are you looking for your spotter leading this race?
Right now, I want to know that it's single file. There's no run on the outside coming. Use that yellow line. Just do not let them get underneath you. If the outside lane starts coming, you see a little momentum from the outside, then he needs to know that. But right now, just block the bottom.
You see Brandon Brown running in 5th place, having a great day there, Kelly.
Yeah, he's been really strong on these Superspeedway races, 5 top 10s in the last couple of years. I asked him what his secret was, and he said he's not too aggressive in the first 2 stages. He doesn't really care about the stage points, so instead he hangs back and he studies. He studies the moves that all the other drivers are making ahead of him and around him. He said, then I know exactly how to race him later in the final stage when it is game time. He's put himself in good position again, Marty, running 5th.
Kelly, 16 to go, coming to 15 to go. And you talk about the spotter for Brandon Jones. Remember, they made a mid-season spotter change on the 19 car. Drew Herring and Brandon Jones are doing their first race together as a driver-spotter combination at a Superspeedway race right now. And talk about going into the fire. Here they are leading, 15 to go. We'll see how well the communication worked in their 1-hour meeting earlier this week. Did they develop enough to win this race?
Oh, there's the move. Justin Haley went up to try to get the run from the top in front of his teammate, Jeb Burton, and he drugged the 3 cars in front of him to the top, puts Brandon Brown leading the bottom lane.
The outside lane had built a lot of momentum. It looked like they were going to make a big run. Brandon Jones, Allgaier, Hemrick. Oh, Jeb in the back of the 11. That really stacks him up behind.
Jeb was in the same position he was when he got to the 02. He was on the left rear of the 11 and almost turned Haley around.
Now that bottom line with Brandon Brown leading is in position to take the lead away from Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones up the racetrack, right in front of Justin Allgaier. Justin's going to slow down the 68 of Brandon Brown. Brandon's looking for some help from Jordan Anderson behind him.
Harrison Burton went to the middle. Risky move right there. Will anybody be there to help him? Can he clear the 11 of Haley?
Brandon Brown with a run here. He's going to clear the 7. He's up alongside Brandon Jones in the yellow car. A side draft from Jordan Anderson is going to slow down the 19. Brandon Brown into the lead.
Hemrick to the outside to try to lead the 3rd lane.
13 laps to go, 34 miles for Brandon Brown.
A family-owned team, Brandon Brown with Brandonville Motorsports leading. Him and his father work hard to create the funds. 2 shops, 1 in Virginia, 1 in North Carolina. So many challenges for this 68, but he made the playoffs a year ago, was unable to make them this year, but a win would put all of that behind him.
Brandon Jones got a big run. Tried to get to the side of the 68 to slow him down. He cleared the 68 of Brown. Now here comes that middle lane. Brandon choosing the middle.
Brandon Jones keeps moving off of the bottom. I don't think that he trusts the 68 to be the car that can push him to this win. He's going to move up and block Cindric.
There you go. 18's with you pushing here.
He blocks Hemrick. That allows Allgaier through the middle.
And that was a big block right there from Brandon Jones. Hemrick smartly lifted, cutting him some slack.
Brandon and Brandon side by side. Brown on the bottom, Jones up top.
Hemrick continues to get a good push off the front of those two Collin cars, but just can't seem to do anything with it. Every time he gets a run, the 19 blocks. Oh, this side draft.
Oh, we got a crash.
Down a little.
Harrison burned into the outside wall. The O2 of Moffitt's collected. A handful of other cars. The 54 of Nemechek. You knew it was coming. Running 3 wide, multiple rows. One wrong move, one false move. 2 guys get together. Harrison tried so desperately to save that car.
No, it didn't look like it'll roll.
Brett Moffitt in the 0-2 brings a very wounded car to pit road. Oh, man, Riley Herbst, huge damage.
When the caution flag came out, we're up against darkness, we're up against potential rain showers. It's imperative on those 3 drivers, Brandon Brown, Brandon Jones, and Justin Allgaier.
Let's take another look right there, about the 3rd row back. You see the white 20 in the middle. Looks like he gets a push that kind of gets stacked up. And the push continues. John Hunter pushes the 0-2 into the 20. They start to move forward. And much like the other accident, it seems like the 20 kind of checks up a little bit. The 0-2 ends up on his left rear. Just trying to help. No, ill attempt, and it turns the 20 left.
So the 20 goes up the track into the left rear of the 18. The 18's kind of coming down to side draft. So 2 guys doing 2 different things kind of created that issue. I think Harrison was pretty much going straight, trying to push the 7, and as the 18 comes down to side draft, the 0-2 sends the 20 up the racetrack a little bit with a little momentum.
A little contact there with Jeb Burton also.
Just so many things happening there between multiple drivers that created that issue.
It's such a great point. I didn't see the contact with the right front of the 20, but you're absolutely right, Junior. That drives the nose of the 20 down the racetrack.
Yeah, see the 0-2. He's pushing right here. He makes contact. Right there, gets into the 20.
So the 20 and the 18 are inches apart. That contact just moved the 20 just enough up the racetrack, and the 18's getting aggressive with that side draft on the 7.
Yeah, the 31, little contact in the door, but he got through. Oh, took the bumper cover off the back of the 10. Jeb Burton, that's a required part. They'll have to work on that. And then you see all the other cars. I think that's Josh Williams in the 92, Alex LeBay in the 36. See about Justin Haley's view right here.
Tight inside, just be easy with it. They're wrecking under you. Keep coming. We're good inside.
And here's further back in the pack and how these guys fared trying to get through the wreck.
Josh Berry in the 1 got through. Jay Buford looks like a little bit of shot to the apron. The 66 up.
Jason White.
And that's, we talked about it earlier. It's Talladega. It's so frustrating. You're sitting there doing everything you need to be doing. You have to push. You have to shove. You have to do those things. And, if you want to win the race, and sometimes it just doesn't work out.
The pushes just get so much more aggressive later in the race. And down that whole back straightaway, there was a lot of movement and a lot of pushes that were making those cars a little bit more difficult to control, and it just kind of crescendoed into a crash in turn 3.
And of course, this moves this race that much closer to darkness. It's relatively dark out there. Brandon Brown can't see a thing. He's screaming. It's completely dark.
If they got a dark windshield or a dark visor, it's absolutely going to be difficult to see, and you don't want to race with that visor up with all the debris and stuff flying around in the car.
So you see these three right here. I think the bigger debate right now is these three are trying to claim they were all leading the race. Brandon Jones, Justin Allgaier, and Brandon Brown are running three wide around this racetrack to say, NASCAR, no, I'm leading. Whoa, 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 no, NASCAR, I'm leading. They're all trying to raise their hand because they know how dark it is. And this right here is the thing. So you see the car wrecking. It really comes down to the time of caution. When NASCAR put the yellow out between those three cars at the front. If it's just to restart the race, they will use the loop lines. But if this will be the finishing order that will set the finish of the race, they will use a camera. They will set the finishing order of the race by camera, not by loop lines. That's why this is very, very important. NASCAR, I'm sure, looks out the window much like we do. They see the darkness, so we're waiting to hear from NASCAR, the official leader. Marty.
And Steve, NASCAR has put Brandon Brown out front. Jeff Manring, crew chief for Brandon Jones, not very happy with that call. He said, we are going to protest that. There is a NASCAR official in the 19 pit box. They have already filed that protest, but it is getting dark down here. They honestly believe that the 19 was the leader when the caution came out. Now, NASCAR can time code all of this. They can go back to the exact moment the caution came out, and that's why they put the 68 out front.
Let's listen to some radio from the 68 car.
And I do believe it's too dark to see. Yeah, I can barely see into 3, even with binoculars in our bright car. I can't see.
All right, so we asked NASCAR how they determined, and they said with 9 laps to go, they used the loops of the race, the loops around the racetrack. So here they are. So basically, start-finish is right here, and you see how big this track is. I mean, there are loops all the way around it. So basically what NASCAR does is they say last loop passed under green. So it was down here somewhere this end of the racetrack. It was either loop 12 or loop 13, and they go use that electronic timing to determine the current running order of the race. That would tell me they expect to restart this race. Marty.
Well, I can tell you Brandon Jones, who sits in second and stands a lot to gain, says he cannot see down the backstretch. It is so dark. So I'll say our cameras do a good job, Junior, of making it look really light out here. But, you know, behind the wheel, it's pretty dark right now. And these drivers are honestly saying, look at the difference those caution lights are making. It really is getting dark here at Talladega.
Yeah, it's pretty dark, but it's coming to 8 laps to go.
Come down from visibility. Everybody's a racer. We race till it's pitch black in order to win.
So that's
dark, whatever it is.
Different opinions out there. We'll race to the finish. We're racers.
Yeah.
Nope, too dark.
What a story this would be for Brandon Brown. I spent some time. I mean, there it is. There's a good view. You see the lights and how much they stand out.
As long as you can see me, I'm good.
Spent some time with Brandon Brown this week. He kind of explained to me his story of where he grew up and how he ended up in late models, and then they jumped right to trucks because that seemed to be the most feasible thing. And then after a partial truck schedule, only 10 races a year, they said, we're going to go Xfinity racing. This is a family-owned team. Him and his father, they have one investor that helps them along. We have seen him have some good runs, but never quite to this level, never leading in the closing laps for Brandon Brown. This would be just a huge, remember, this is the used car salesman, right? He put the video out. Come sponsor my race car. He said that has helped. That has generated some sponsorship for the 68. Now he's trying to take that sponsorship and parlay it into a victory at Talladega.
I do think that NASCAR does have to decide at some point when is it too dark, because we're going to come to 7 to go here, likely get a restart in the next lap or 2, and there's a possible chance we'll have another yellow that'll extend this race several more minutes. So it's borderline right now whether it's too dark or not, but in a very short period of time it will be.
If I'm a crew chief right now and we're going to restart this race, I want NASCAR to tell me, are we running to the finish or is this overtime rules? What are we doing here? Because I'm okay that we're going to give all these great race fans that came here to see a finish, we're going to give them a shot at a finish. I'm okay with that. But let me know, because I don't believe we have time for 8 laps. I don't think we have time for 3 or 4 more cautions. Maybe you could make the, hey guys, we're only going to try this once. NASCAR could change those rules, in my opinion, or adjust the rules, not really changing it, to give the race fan the value who came here today to Talladega.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I do want to make it very clear that it is much darker here in person than it is on these cameras. I don't know at NASCAR, how they make the decision whether it's too dark or not. It's almost impossible. You look at Jeff Burton, you mentioned it earlier, he's got that dark shield, and you could say, well, hey, just pick the shield up, and you can see, well, then all those rocks and gravel, all that's blowing in your eyeball. So it's not just as easy as just saying pick that shield up. And the longer this track takes to clean up, of course, just the darker it gets.
I'm down again.
vehicles still on the racetrack cleaning it. Dave.
And as if not to emphasize the darkness, our cameraman Dave Stolen has the bright light on so we can talk to Brett Moffitt. Brett, what'd you see?
I just was pushing aggressive and got in there into turn 3 and trying to make up for our lack track position, and ended up probably packing a little too much air on the 20 there, and he got free and it just went crazy from there. So it was a bummer. We had a really fast freight auctions Camaro. We were up front, and I guess it's kind of ironic that's about the same spot I got turned by the 10, the previous caution. So I don't know. It's a bummer. It's just hard plate racing. It wasn't intentional by any means, but sucks.
Thanks, Brett. And Riley, we'll get you to walk right in here. Riley Herbst, released from the Infield Care Center as well. First of all, you okay? The car is pretty torn up. And then where are you at now heading to the Roval next week?
I don't know. I think it's a must win. Yeah, 32. So, man, we executed our plan to a T, got as many stage points as we could, led a lot of laps. And there at the end, before the last caution, we got hit from the back from somebody who didn't use the brake pedal. And that ultimately had us come back down pit road to work on the tail damage, and then that put us in the back. And at that point, I knew we were going to be wrecked just because top of 3 wide at Talladega, the sun's setting, so everybody wants to go. And I don't know, I just called the race 68-1, so heck, I don't know. Thanks to Monster Energy, Stewart Haas Racing, and now let's see what we got at the Roval.
Does Riley have breaking news there, guys? Is that beneficial?
Due to darkness, we're coming to a yellow and checkered flag. NASCAR has called the race. The 68 of Brandon Brown is going
to... too dark. Oh, my God. Wow. Just wow.
This is based on the loops.
This is a dream come true. This is a dream come true.
Brandon Brown coming down the front straightaway. About to realize.
Oh, taking the checkered boys. Let's go!
You hear the emotion already in his voice. First ever career win in his 114th start.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. You guys, oh my God. Thank you, Dad, so much. We did it, Dad. We did it. We did it. We won.
Hear the emotion as he talks to his father, as I mentioned, him and his dad, that they've built this thing together.
That'll be a popular win in this series. A lot of drivers and fans know how hard this guy and his team has worked to put themselves in this position. Obviously, the 19 team filing the protest. We'll hear from NASCAR. But Brandon Brown is going to get to go to victory lane for the first time in his life. Brandon-Built Motorsports, first career win as a team. This is the type of stuff that we see at Talladega. Cinderella stories, first-time winners. It continues today for Brandon Brown.
Just great for this whole family. Entire family's put so much into this, Steve, to get here. To have this break, to have something like this happen to them is just so big for them.
Yeah, the 28-year-old out of Virginia has run some truck races, run some late model races, moved full-time in the Xfinity.
And all of his crew can only dream of what it feels like to take their car and celebrate a win in victory lane. And they all get to realize that, walk to victory lane, finding it hard to believe that they are actually going to hold the trophy today. Brandon's going to pull down here to the front straightaway and give us his first burnout. I bet it'll be a good one. He salutes the fans through the tri-oval. I cannot wait to see the emotion and excitement in this man's face when he climbs out of that race car.
So as we see these amazing burnouts from Brandon Brown, Steve O'Donnell was nice enough to step over here, and I had the question about loops versus cameras, and it's very clear. He said when the accident happens, you set the field due to loops because there's 8 laps left in the race. The goal would be to restart the race. And just like if we would have received a pop-up rain shower under that caution as we rode around, it became clear with the length of the cleanup that this then would end the race. But because we were not on the white flag lap, because that caution wasn't the instantaneous end of the race, they would not use the cameras as they have consistently. We've seen this before. A caution comes out, and then under caution, it rains. You don't go back and reset the field. So NASCAR is staying consistent with their procedures using loops, and those loop lines award the race win to Brandon Brown.
Brandon has so many supporters that help him get to these racetracks every single weekend. On board today, the original Larry's Hard Lemonade, a partner of his. That's awesome. Kelly Stavis is down there with our winner, Brandon Brown.
113 Xfinity Series starts, his first career win. Didn't look too rusty on those burnouts, Brandon. Must be practicing somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, y'all could ask like my neighbors back at Coastal Carolina that I did plenty of burnouts to practice for this moment. Oh my God, this is a dream come true. Wow, Talladega, winner in the NASCAR. Oh my God, Dad, we did it, let's go!
You told me before this race that if you were to win, it would be incredible. How does the reality of this moment live up to the dream?
Oh my God, this is just everything we've hoped and dreamed for. This is everything I've ever wanted to do is take the trophy home to Mom and Dad. And oh my God, thank you so much, Larry's Lemonade. Thank you so much, Trade the Chain. Thank you so much, Jabs Construction. Thank you, Mid-Atlantic. Thank you to all of our partners. Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go, Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first 2 stages and just watch and learn. What did you learn that helped you there in those closing laps?
Oh my God, it was learning how each line didn't stay to one. Everything shifted top to bottom so much that it was kind of like, okay, let's just stay patient where we're at and hope for the best. And we saw our moment and we seized it. So, God, I'm just so proud of Brandonville Motorsports. I'm so proud of everybody on our team here at home, everybody that's worked on our team since the beginning. We did it. We did it. We did it.
Yes, you did.
We did it.
Brandon Brown, a winner now in the Xfinity Series. Junior.
Brandon's headed to Ruoff Victory Lane to see his team. I'm sure he can't wait to go see the looks on their faces. I mean, this team grinds every single week for top 10 finishes with the hope that one day they could show up and have a miracle home run shot. And it happened tonight.
It did, and you heard a Coastal Carolina student, right? He graduated from there. He said he wanted to thank all of his partners. So many people have came on board. He's the guy, the used car salesman. He said, hey, sponsor me. Bring those partners in. I mean, he truly has built this with his dad from the shop up, every piece. He told the stories about how he had to buy a bunch of different race cars just to get him to the racetrack, and here he is. We have seen good runs here or there, and this just proves, Jeff, that, right, you could take decent runs and continue to improve him. He is not completely out of nowhere. This is a name that was in the playoffs last year. He has a top 5 this year just at Phoenix in the spring. But to go to victory lane is a completely different step.
Yeah, listen, it was awesome for him to say, I can't wait to get this trophy to Mom and Dad. I mean, you know, because they've done this as a family. They have made this happen. They've sacrificed. They've struggled. And to be able to give that trophy to your mom and dad and say, look, it was worth it. I mean, that has got to be an unbelievable feeling.
Well, we know this team's excited, but one guy that might be a little disappointed, even finishing second, Brandon Jones. Dave's caught up with him.
Yeah, Junior, the flip side of all that emotion from the 68 now over here to the 19 with Brandon Jones. So I'm sure there's a part of you that says, hey, I'm happy we finished a race. We finished second. Great points day. But is there a part of you that's disappointed because you thought you should have been ahead of the 68 when the caution came out?
Yeah, well, first off, let me just say how grateful I am to have Menards on our Supra, to have some executives from Little Hugs that here this weekend. It's a big day for us, weekend for Little Hugs as well, kind of throughout the entire week. So I was wanting to get them a win so bad, man, and you know, I think that you look at the whole day and all the scenarios that happened, and I think that's probably the best option without us winning, to have the 68 win. I think it's good for him, and you know, also I think that, you know, obviously doesn't affect the points too bad for us, and had some solid moments there, and don't know how he missed the big one there, 3 and 4 early on in the day. I was pretty much committed to the point of, okay, I can't miss it, I'm going to hit him, and we made it through somehow. So a lot of positives, but man, we're close, and it's tough to swallow. It is.
For the record, though, guys, they were asking all the drivers, thumbs up, thumbs down, is it too dark? Brandon said, thumbs down, it's too dark to go back racing.
We'll have more interviews, several other drivers when we return. Brandon Brown, your winner today in Talladega. Next Saturday on NBC, the first elimination race of the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs of round 1. Coverage from the Charlotte Roval begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Be pretty wild. Take a look at the playoff leaderboard.
Austin Cindric has advanced due to points. He has enough points that he's advanced. You see Allgaier, Hemrick, Allmendinger, pretty good chance. Back there in 9th, Jeb Burton, -8. A big break for the driver of the 10. The race didn't refinish. He got damaged, was missing a real tear cover. He would have had to come in and repair his car. So darkness saved Jeb Burton a lot of points. And we mentioned the accidents. Take another look at it. Really focus on these leaders right here. Remember, NASCAR uses loops, so it's not a frozen situation, but the 20, Rex goes up, takes that bumper off of the 10. I mentioned, you look at the leaders, 68 kind of ahead. You see where the 19, the 7, the caution comes out. It's all electronic. NASCAR goes back to loops once again because they expect to restart the race. Due to the length of the cleanup, it ended up ending the race. And that man right there, Brandon Brown, first career Xfinity Series win.
And when they go back to the loops, it's nothing to question. Like, it's just simple. It's whatever car is there, the electronics measure it. It's just no argument whatsoever. So just really nothing to discuss.
Yeah, so this is from SMT, so that's going through the loop right there. And you see the 68's ahead. That puts the 19 in second and the 7 in third. And that is the loop, the last loop they crossed and how they crossed it under the green flag condition.
That's close.
That's close. Well, that's why, Brandon, listen, I've been on both sides. Junior, you and I were on either side of a caution here.
All this is bringing back a lot of bad memories for me.
It was obvious you didn't because we went to victory lane with the 24. But to your point, we've been on both sides of this.
Well, one guy smiling is with Dave, Justin Allgaier.
Well, Justin Allgaier finishes third at Talladega. Still don't have that victory here. Will you take it?
I don't know. You know, it's disappointing to get that close and then not be able to even race for it right there. But, you know, congrats to Brandon. I mean, those guys work really, really hard, and it's cool to see a first-time winner. Obviously, they did what they needed to do there at the end, and I had to go down across the apron in that one big wreck and tore up the splitter a little bit, and I think that was just the difference for us at the end. We just didn't have the speed we wanted, but really proud of our team. Everybody, the brand professional agriculture Camaro was really good, and we did what we needed to do. We come out of here with a good points gap. We didn't lock our way into the next round, but we can go to the Roval next week and have some fun and hopefully go for it.
Did you feel like there was enough light to maybe get this restarted, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, it's subjective, right? I mean, some guys probably had dark shields on because of the daytime, you know, so they would have had a lot tougher time to be able to see where they were going. But either way, I mean, I get it. I understand the safety aspect of the darkness, but we had so many great fans here and so many great fans at home watching on TV. I was hoping to give them a really cool checker flag finish and just didn't get the chance to do that.
Listen, that's why the fans love Justin Allgaier, right? Because he wasn't going to say he was okay with third, even though it helps him in the points. And he wasn't even going to say it was too dark because he wanted another shot. That's the racer in him, Jeff. I love that about him. And I believe if he can continue on through the playoffs, you go to Phoenix, he's got to be one of the favorites.
Oh, I agree 100%. And I know he wanted to win this race, but also when he said, hey, we're not automatically through, but we can go to the Roval and have a good time, that's really what he wanted to leave here thinking today. That was the goal. Leave here with solid points, go to Roval, no pressure.
Tomorrow's schedule for the NASCAR Cup Series, 1 o'clock. Cup countdown to green. At 2 o'clock, the Cup Series playoff race kicks off at Talladega. And then go over to NBCSN for 6 o'clock post-race. Talladega never disappoints. We had a wild one. Some wild, hard crashes. A Cinderella story, a first-time winner, all wrapped up in one. Brandon Brown, he's going to be driving home singing Eric Church's Talladega all the way to the house. It's going to be a lot of fun, though, tomorrow, guys. You're going to want to tune in. More NASCAR coverage is always available on NBCSports.com. Coming up next, Mecum Auctions from Glendale.